Hey guys, Sean here. Welcome to the F1 Word and to the qualifying watch-along for the 2024 Monaco Grand Prix, the most important qualifying session of the season. Are you sick of hearing that already this weekend? It's all they talk about. Qualifying in Monaco, the most important session of the season. You can understand why, I'm sure. I hope you're having a good afternoon, morning, evening where you are in the world. Let me know where you're watching from. Yes, it's a qualifying watch-along. I did pop a community post out yesterday to let you know and scheduled as well in advance, but I know that doesn't always go out to everybody, so hopefully some people will turn up to enjoy this with us. And it is a sort of one-off. We'll see how it goes, and if everything goes okay, we might do these between now and the end of the season. We'll see how we go. Live, of course, tomorrow with the race reaction as always. So we're still live on a Sunday, whatever happens. But yeah, good to see you in chat. Alfie, Bobby, Flying Tiger, Peter, and Max is here, and James as well. Hey, James, good to see you. Hope you are well. But yeah, we'll get the housekeeping out of the way while people turn up. First things first, live timing today will be provided by Multiviewer for F1. If you've not got Multiviewer for F1, this is not an ad, but genuinely, if you love your F1 data, it is well worth a download. You do need an F1 TV subscription, but you can use Access, which is like £2.29 a month in the UK, or you can have the full F1 TV Pro. They've got lots of data. I'm sure loads of you used it before. It is brilliant if you enjoy your F1, so it really enhances your viewing experience. I've got it open, and I'll be using that during qualifying and the race. So thank you to those guys for allowing me to use that in the stream. Hopefully the layout is to their liking. They'll let me know, I'm sure, for any problems. And drop a like, subscribe, all of that usual business, of course, and the usual. I'm saying it once here, and I'm going to say it once at the start of the watch along proper at 3 o'clock when we get there. No on-track footage in this stream for what I think are very, very obvious copyright reasons. So I don't own the rights, but yes. There you go. Hey to Theo, hey to Pete as well. Good to see you there. But yeah, F1 Multiview, give it a go if you haven't already. I think they do IndyCar as well, and NASCAR and WEC, so definitely worth giving that a go. It's free as well to download, so there we go. It's an interesting weekend so far. We'll talk about what's happened so far this weekend in Monaco. Ferrari, he says nervously as a Ferrari fan, looking pretty damn good. That usually ends with the disastrous qualifying session when I say things like that. But yeah, looking pretty good. Charles Leclerc topped the session this morning in FP3. I'll run through that order in just a moment. And topped FP2 yesterday. Lewis Hamilton topped FP1 on Friday. It was just afternoon, wasn't it? 12:30 it started, so Friday afternoon. But looking good there for Ferrari. Red Bull look a little bit lost. However, I would like to direct your attention to qualifying 7 days ago. Red Bull were all at sea. They were lost. Nobody thought they were going to be in with a shout of pole. They were struggling. The setup wasn't working. And yes, with the help of a tow and whatever else, Max Verstappen still put together a fantastic lap and took pole position and went on to win the race. So, as Stuart said to me in a message, I'm not going to believe that Red Bull are struggling until I've seen them actually struggling. So it could be very close, but it could also be incredibly dominant for Charles Leclerc. He was pretty comfortable this morning. On that note, did I set that up proper? Yes, I did. I was a bit worried then that I'd just throw something into stream I wasn't supposed to, but it's okay. That's on a different screen. We're all sorted here. Your results from FP3 this morning. Let me get them up for you. So, Charles Leclerc topped the session with a 1:11.369. He was just under 0.2 quicker than Max Verstappen, who was in P2. Actually, a pretty decent lap to get to within 0.2 by Max. He seems to be purple quite often in the first sector, but then through the middle and final sectors, he's losing quite a lot of time. So, I'm not sure what that is. He said over the radio they know why they're losing the time. I don't know if that's because there's an issue with setup, or are they being cheeky and not turn their engine up yet? We'll find out in about an hour and a half's time where they are, but we'll see. Let me know what you think in chat. Lewis Hamilton third, a 1:11.7 for him, 3.5 tenths off Leclerc. Oscar Piastri, he's looked really good so far in Monaco. He's fourth, half a second off the pace though, which is not where McLaren want to be, but see if they're quicker in qualifying. Sergio Perez not happy in his car either. He was fifth place this morning on a 1:11.9, half a second off the pace. George Russell just under 6 tenths off in sixth place for Mercedes. Carlos Sainz down in seventh. I'm not sure why, so we'll keep an eye on that one. Today it might just be set up, or it could be whatever, program they were running. Lando Norris down in 8th as well, another one to keep an eye on this afternoon. I'm sure he's quicker than that. Yuki Tsunoda in P9, 6 tenths off. Fernando Alonso 10th, he was 7 tenths off. That top 10 is scrolling on the screen. Pierre Gasly was 11th with Alex Albon in 12th. Nico Hulkenberg 13th, 1:12.1, 8 tenths off the pace. Kevin Magnussen in 14th. Lance Stroll 15th. Esteban Ocon in 16th place, Logan Sargeant 17th, Daniel Ricciardo 18th, Zhou Guanyu 19th, and Valtteri Bottas was last in qualifying because he crashed. He hit the wall on the run to... what's that for? La Rascasse. What was that? I forgot my corner names there. On the way to La Rascasse, clunked the wall, damaged his car, and ended up bringing out the red flag in the session. That was the end for him. So there we go. Valtteri Bottas, not a great morning, but we'll see. In chat, Flying Tiger says Max Verstappen, Lando Norris, and George Russell summoned after Monaco FP3 incidents. Article 33.4 of the sporting regulations, driving unnecessarily slowly on track. Thank you very much, mate. I'm glad you're here. You could be the guy that checks the FIA for me if I forget anything. Let's have a look at what they're saying. So it is, they've actually said infringement for Max Verstappen. A warning. So they've just given a warning for that. So I assume Lando Norris will be a warning. Reprimand for Lando Norris. Okay. And we're still waiting to hear on George Russell. So that was an incident with car 4, so I'm not sure. So let me just read this to you then. Have I read that right? Yeah, no. So Max Verstappen, practice 3, driving unnecessarily slowly, which is a breach of Article 33.4, as Flying Tiger says. Stewards heard from the driver. I hate reading all that bit. Reviewed the team radio that car 1, Verstappen, was on fast lap and had to abort the lap due to traffic at turn 17. He was then told to take the checkered flag by the team. Then there remained some time between the instruction and the checkered flag. He said that he also saw on TV screens there was around 20 seconds left at the end of the session. He then proceeded to move off the racing line at the exit of turn 19 and stay to the extreme left, well off the racing line until he took the checkered flag for the session. While doing so, he travelled extremely slowly at times at speeds as slow as 20 kilometres an hour. That is slow, even for Monaco. While what he did was not dangerous and did not impede other drivers, he was driving unnecessarily slowly on the start-finish straight, and that is a breach of 33.4. We therefore issue a warning to car 1, so that's Verstappen. What was the difference with Norris then? Interested here. Did he impede somebody? He may have done here. So that's a different incident. That's why. Sorry, I understand now. Sorry, I'm just being thick. Stewards heard from Norris and Russell, reviewed team evidence and all that business, video evidence, and determined that car 4 deliberately moved towards car 63, so Norris to Russell, to express his displeasure at his lap being affected by car 63 at the exit of the tunnel. While in this instance the move was not dangerous, this sort of action could potentially lead to a dangerous situation and should be avoided, with therefore impose a reprimand on driver 4. So there we go. That clears up the confusion. Norris's thing was for an incident with Russell. The other one was for actually driving unnecessarily slow. So it's a warning for Max and a reprimand for Norris. But actually, it's his second of the season, so I don't think it's as good as a warning for Norris, isn't it? I'd be surprised if he picks up another 8. You never know, of course, in Formula One what's going to happen. So that's really all the action from the morning session in FP3. But it was good. It was a good session. It does look like it's going to be. I'm not going to say anyone's game, like I say, because the reason I'm going to avoid saying anyone's game is because when I say that, it's usually a one-man show. But I think Ferrari look like they are in a very good shape, because it could end up being that Charles Leclerc locks out P1 by 2 or 3 tenths, then it still is a one-man show, but you know what I mean by not a one-man show. So Adam Osborne says, bold prediction for qualifying. Good afternoon, Adam. It's a good one. I like a bold prediction. So my prediction on Thursday for quali was pole for Verstappen, because, as I said in that preview, even though maybe he has his struggles at a racetrack like, Monaco this year, we saw it at Imola, he just seems to be able to pull a lap out of the bag. Even when it's been really close this season at times, he's still managed to snatch that pole position. So it's very difficult not to just pick him for that pole. I wanted to pick a Ferrari, but I went with the Red Bull. So I'm going to stand by that, because that is my predictions for my season score in the previews. But with everything we've seen so far, I'll be tempted to go Leclerc for pole. It's not a bold prediction, but my bold prediction is that... Well, let's go. This is bold. Pierre Gasly sneaks it into Q3. I'm talking by like 1,000th of a second. He just sneaks it into Q3, because he wasn't far off top 10 this morning. That's not going to be the pace in qualifying, of course. Now people probably go straight to the back. But you asked for a bold prediction. That's what I'm going to go with. Gasly for a Q3 appearance. It is unlikely. Crofty in commentary said that they have proved there's no commentary curse, so you should be safe saying anyone's name, anyone's game, says Mike. Yeah, that's true. I don't believe in commentators curse, but as a Ferrari fan, the same as any other sport where I support my football team or whatever, there are certain things I do, even though I'm not that superstitious, or I don't think I am. Certain things I won't say before a game, or won't say before a race, or don't want to jinx anything, even though I know that nobody has that kind of power. So we'll see what happens. Theo says Horner just said they don't have a big expectation for quali. Okay, yeah. I take it the dots at the end there are we shall see. Are you missing the cup final, Sean? Yes, I am, Max. I don't see the point in watching us lose. I can't. I'd rather do this anyway. Qualifying is, F1's much more important to me than football. And Monaco qualifying, it's awesome. So, and I wanted to give this F1 multi-viewer stuff a go. So why not? There you go. If you are new to Watchalongs, by the way, I tend to, for the first half an hour, we just waffle away, answer some questions in chat, interact with you all. It's a nice community feel, and then we get into the Watchalong. I'm not going to try and commentate it like I used to do. We'll just. The best way to describe a watch-along, if you've never seen one on anybody's channel, is just, imagine we're all down the pub or in someone's, that's a big living room, but in someone's living room, and we're just chatting about F1, we'll watch it. There's not going to be some kind of crazy commentary thing, he says, flashing back to Turkey 2020 when Lance Stroll got pole, and I started screaming and shouting and effing and blinding out of way too much excitement. So there you go. AC says the Logan for pole from the back. There you go. That is bold. That's the most bold I've ever seen. Pascal's hoping Sauber get off the bottom two place in qualifying. I did actually say, Pascal, in my preview, if you caught it, that I thought I went with Sauber as a bold prediction for both cars making Q2. I'm not feeling confident now with Bottas missing FP3 and Zhou being 2.5 seconds off the pace for whatever reason down in 19th place. So not quite so confident on that one anymore. But I thought, I hope Sauber do well. Pretty much all I've got to say on that one for you, Pascal. I was sort of going through the news so I could get a couple of headlines on the bottom of the screen scrolling for this first part, by the way. And I found two stories. So motorsport.com saying that Paul Monahan is going to be staying at Red Bull. They've been told that contracts are done and he's staying long term there, so that might settle the ship a little bit at Red Bull, I suppose is a phrase I could use, because it's been a bit shaky this season. Let's put it that way. Let's not get into it too much. I know it can get controversial there, but yeah, I think that might steady the ship a bit with Adrian Newey leaving. So some good news there. And the other one is apparently they're looking likely that we're going to get a race in Southeast Asia. So they're looking at Seoul. They're looking at Indonesia, have expressed an interest, and Thailand as well. So that's going to be one to keep an eye on. Calendar-wise, would sit quite nicely with sort of China, Japan, wouldn't it, in a triple header if they needed to? So that could be interesting. But I'm not. It sounds like South Korea would be, a street circuit. If they could go back to that track they had, I really enjoyed that circuit, but that's probably not going to happen. It seems a bit, I don't know what the state of the circuit is. I can imagine it's not great, but it seems a bit odd to be putting a street track in when you've got a half decent racetrack to use. But there'll be reasons, I'm sure, probably money related, as you know. And the big rumour of the weekend caught me off guard, was that Carlos Sainz is heavily linked to a seat at Williams. And I thought, that's bonkers. Why on earth would he ever do that? Sorry, Pascal, with what I'm about to say. But then I thought about it, and I'm thinking about next year more than 2026. If you've got a choice right now of hopping in a Sauber for next year, just looking at next year, and a Williams for next year, Williams is probably the more attractive option. Now, obviously, Audi come in from 2026, so maybe that will change that might be able to sort of sway his decision a bit, because that's a manufacturer drive. It's a massive new project. He'd be the focal point of that. He'd probably love to be there. But I'm just thinking about next year in isolation. I think I'd rather be in a Williams. Del says he'd rather be in a Sauber, which is fair enough. But I just, again, forget Audi for a minute and look at next year in isolation. I think Williams are probably where I'd rather be, but sort of come to Dell's, I guess, point in a way there. Longer term, I'd probably go to Sauber because you've got the Audi drive that comes in after that. So it's a really fascinating conversation to have there. But I think it just caught me off guard. We've been talking about Sainz to Red Bull. We've talked about Sainz to Mercedes. We've talked about Sainz to Audi. I mean, how long is it before we talk about Sainz to Haas? We've really... I actually feel for him. He's been driving really well. Lando Norris aside, or until Lando Norris won, he was the only non-Red Bull driver to win a race in the last, 15, 16 months. He's been driving extremely well in that Ferrari. He's difficult odd weekend here and there, but he's largely been really, really strong. And we're talking about him going to the back of the grid somewhere. And I sort of think that's a bit rubbish, but that's just the way it's fallen. It sounds like Mercedes are pretty much all in on Antonelli. Do we agree in chat? I think it looks like they're all in on Antonelli. And it looks like it's Sauber or Williams for Sainz. I think Williams will be much happier with Sainz, I think, than some of the other options that are thrown around. But it's fascinating. It's the driver market has not gone the way I thought it would when it all started kicking off, when Lewis Hamilton announced he was going to Ferrari. It has not gone the way I thought it would. And I feel for Sainz, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes in F1 when it comes to the driver market. Sometimes you're available at the right time, other times you're not. You know, Sainz next year at Red Bull doesn't look like it's happening. Mercedes are calling on Antonelli. Everything can change though, can't they? They can change. Are you still in your pajamas, Sean? I am not, Kevin. It's 2:45 in the afternoon, mate. I'm not that bad. I'm fairly bad. I got some, not that you care, I'm not going to tell you now, you asked Kevin. I got some new shorts yesterday. Came and they're really, I don't know what the fabric is, but they're really, really nice. Yeah, they're kind of a bit stretchy. No, quite, yeah. Anyway, you don't care, but I'm telling you anyway. Yeah, not quite pajamas, definitely not. Matthew, good afternoon, mate. Says, hi, Sean. Do you reckon shootouts between Leclerc and Max for pole or any shocks? I think we're looking at, I think Leclerc, based on what we've seen so far this weekend, is probably favourite going into qualifying. I do right now think it is between Leclerc and Verstappen, but there's just, it's because of what we've seen lately. Like I said a little bit earlier in the stream, Max Verstappen, when he's having a difficult weekend or struggling with car setup, he just seems to always be able to get that lap. We saw, what was it? We saw, Abu Dhabi. Well, I've not listed them all, but he's been on pole every weekend since Abu Dhabi. So that's 8 in a row. So even when it's been really close in qualifying, when we had like problems last weekend for them, he still managed to pull the lap out. So there's just that little bit in the back of my brain that will not let me think this is anybody's but Verstappen, just because we know if he puts it together and that car works for him, he will be on pole position. So plus there's the Leclerc curse. Nick's kind of making a point there. Still feels something could go wrong for Charles. I don't know how much we can read into the Leclerc curse. Again, that's a bit superstitious, isn't it? But things do definitely seem to go wrong for Charles at Monaco. So I can still see something falling apart for him this year. And hopefully we don't have some controversy there. Now, I'm hoping we don't have one of those where, because I don't know if they implemented that rule yet. They were talking about it, but I don't want to see one of those situations where Leclerc's on pole or Max is on pole or, I don't know, Piastri's on pole and then sticks it in the wall and the red flag comes out and that ruins everybody's laps and they keep pole. I hope we don't see that. I don't want that controversy again because it just sets everybody off. And not in a good way because that's just the way people are sometimes. But I don't know if they've talked about it a lot. I think it's the IndyCar rule, isn't it? Where if you cause a red flag, you get your fastest lap deleted. I think that would be fair. But we'll see what happens today. Moray says, to be fair to Kimi, he is demolishing Behrman right now. External factors, yes, but it's a big gap, which is only increasing. Yeah, and I think today, and obviously this could change in a month's time, 6 months' time, whatever. I think today Behrman and Antonelli will be on the grid next season, is how it feels. Mercedes seem all in on Antonelli. Behrman's got these FP1s with Haas, and Haas have already sort of hinted at the fact that they're not going to be looking at his F2 as much as they are his FP1 sessions. That's more important to them because they want to see how he adapts to the car in F1. So he looks like he's going to be there next year. It looks like Antonelli there. So I think right now that's what I'm thinking. So I don't think Behrman's too worried about F2. But of course he'd love to win the title, wouldn't he? And come into F1 as the F2 champion, or maybe not actually. F2 champions don't always make it to F1 these days. So maybe Behrman wouldn't mind being runner-up or something like that. So we shall see. But I think, yeah, the grid's starting to come together now. You're starting to get a better picture. I'm just trying to think of sort of... I think Red Bull is going to be a Perez... I mean, Horner's just loves the idea of getting Ricciardo in there by the sounds of it. So, but I think it's going to be a Perez, or maybe I just don't see Tsunoda there for some reason. I'd love to see him get a chance. Everybody else needs to get a chance except Tsunoda at Red Bull. So that would be quite cool. But, it looks like Red Bull are going to keep it in-house. Ferrari are tied down. Mercedes look like they're going around Antonelli. Aston Martin, I know, massive question mark over that second seat. Could it be Lance Stroll by any chance? Rolls eyes. Pretty confident it will be. Haas, big question mark there. I think Behrman's got one of those seats. Will they stick with Magnussen? Will they bring somebody experienced in? Maybe a Bottas, for example. He was linked with Williams. RB is going to be kept in-house. Alpine's an interesting one, actually, isn't it? Looking at that, yeah. Did Gasly and Ocon give them another chance? Does one of them get a shot at a Mercedes seat? Or Yeah, Alpine then. Alpine, the one I'm most looking forward to see how that all works out over the next few weeks and months. But they may be fighting for what's left, which sounds absolutely horrendous, but it's true. It's just how it feels. Nobody wants to be in that car at the moment. So there you go. Clay says, Sainz going anywhere but a top team is a waste. I'm still holding out for Sainz to Red Bull. AC says Max out, Mick to Alpine. Mick has been linked to Alpine, hasn't he, Mick Schumacher, this week, after some good performances for them in World Endurance. So we'll see what happens there. So we're about 10 minutes away from the start of quali. We'll go over to the watch-along screen in about 5 mins. 5 mins, keep it cash. You're 38, Sean, grow up. Yeah, so about 5 minutes we'll hop over to the watch-along screen and I'll take you through the timing and that there. I have got a driver tracker and that. Hopefully, first time using it, so hopefully it all works out okay. But we'll see how we go. AC wants to know if K-Mag would be out at Haas. So if I'm Komatsu, personally, I really like K-Mag, and I'd like to see him stay. I like his personality. I like he's a bit sort of old school with it. He's not a PR machine, but I think looking at how well Nico Hulkenberg is doing against him this year, I'd be tempted to go with. You need experience. He needs somebody alongside. He can't go like he did with Schumacher and Mazepin, 2 rookies or anything like that. Or not, he didn't go with that, did he? It was Gunther Steiner and Gene Haas did, but Gene Haas can't be talking about bringing 2 rookies. They need somebody with experience. So maybe like an Ocon or a Gasly, maybe Bottas alongside a Behrman, for example. Behrman and Bottas and Behrman. Sounds like a kids' TV show. That does Bottas and Behrman, doesn't it? Or a pub. The Bottas and Behrman. Anyway, I think they need somebody alongside him with experience. So it's whether they can convince a Bottas, for example, or even, dare I say, a Perez if he leaves Red Bull, to go to Haas. If they can convince him, then yeah. If not, I'd stick with Magnussen just to make sure that they've got somebody alongside, just to guide him a bit. Bottas has been linked to Williams, but it sounds now like Sainz is in there. So could it be Bottas, Sainz? Well, it's fascinating. We're here to talk about qualifying. I can't help but talk about this driver market. Yes, so qualify for Monaco, the most important qualifying session of the year. Get bored. The race tomorrow is going to be interesting. But I will reiterate the point I made in the preview that actually I think the stat was, I haven't written it down stupidly, but I think the stat was that only 3 of the last 7 Monaco Grand Prix have been won from pole. The reason it was 7, by the way, and not 10 is because I do sort of the last 7 poles, the last 7 wins on the preview. So, and if you take 2021 out where Leclerc didn't start the race, it's still 3 from 6, so 50%. So this talk of if you start on pole at Monaco, you're guaranteed to win isn't strictly true. The stats don't say that, but they do like to say, don't they, that if you've got pole on Monaco, more than half the job is done. I do suspect whoever leads into turn 1 tomorrow will be the race winner, because what you have to think about as well is really all you've got to do, as Danny Rick proved years ago with his MGU-K, was it his K or his H? One of his MGUs had given up and he'd lost all that power. He was cruising around the front. All you really need to do is make sure you've got the pace around the pit stops to prevent the undercut or the overcut. So you just stay out as long as you can. Look after your tyres. It's not really too hard on tyres. Look after them as best you can. Cruise around, manage the pace, and then just push around the pit stops and you can win the race. So it's not going to be a thriller, but I still think there's something about Monaco. And it probably is just qualifying. I enjoy it. I enjoy Monaco. I get why. I totally get and I totally respect why people don't like Monaco or complain about Monaco, because it's not the greatest spectacle on a Sunday, especially when it's twinned with, if you want to say twinned, it's probably the wrong word, but when it's sort of on the same weekend as the Indy 500, you sort of think, oh, that's not great. Somebody said to me the other day, oh, if you want to watch real racing, it was in the preview, and I did respond to them, but if you want to watch real racing, don't bother with Monaco. Watch the Indy 500. And I've said this before and people will know exactly where I'm going with this, but it really is a pet peeve of mine that's the world we live in, where if you want to watch real racing, why can't it be both? I should be watching the Indy 500 and the Monaco Grand Prix. There'll be people watching, is it the Coca-Cola 600, for example? Why can't it be both? Why have I got to choose one or the other? It's just weird to me. I can't wait for Indy tomorrow. I probably missed the very start because we'll be live with the reaction, but I'm still looking forward to it. So there we go. Shall we head over to the watch along screen, because we're about to get the music. In fact, hang on 1 second. Hopefully you can't. I'm going to drop something there. there'll be a massive bang. It'll be the TV or something that goes flying. There we go. There we go. There we go. I've sorted it. We're all right. I was worried I was going to knock stuff over, but no, I'm just going to head over to the watch on screen now and see where we go, and then talk you through what we've got. Hopefully this is all set up okay. Okay, we need a little tweak. You're going to see me cursor, I think. No, you're not. All right there. You'll see what colour the background of your PC is at the minute, though, for obvious reasons. But yeah, so we've got live timing provided by F1 Multiviewer. Thank you once again to those guys, or Multiviewer for F1, sorry. Thanks again to those guys for providing the timing and the driver tracker as well. That is all in sync. I've got it synced up to the TV because I'll be watching that. So if you're watching with the actual live timing, it might be a little bit behind for you, or my stream might be, but that's only because I'm trying to do it to the TV rather than the footage itself. F1 Multiviewer, links in the description. Go check out their app. It is free to download the app. It is free to use the app, but of course you need an F1 TV subscription. You can customize your layout. You can have timing, track maps. In fact, I'll tell you, I'll list some of the things you can have. 1 second. That's all gone wrong. There we go. So you can have track maps, track limits tracker, investigations tracker, team radio, race control messages, AI radio transcripts, lap charts, scoreboards, speed trap leaderboards, lap time for the series. It's loads, absolutely loads on there. Customize your experience. It's not sponsored, but I want to give them a massive shout out because they don't have to let me use these, but they have. So thank you to those guys. And the reason that the track map is in that position and with the picture of Charles Leclerc's Ferrari behind it is because their preference is that the majority of the stream is not data. It's just to avoid issues with FOM, and I am so bored of fighting FOM. I just can't be bothered with it anymore. So I've tried to do that as best I can. So if they are around and they do see this, then let me know if I need to change anything. But I think that just about satisfies me and hopefully you guys as well. But thank you to those. You can subscribe as well if you are new to the channel. Lots coming up. We've got the race reaction tomorrow with Stuart, aka Chamber, from around about 5 p.m. BST, depending on safety cars and red flags. And of course, there'll be videos and streams out throughout the rest of the season as well. So please do drop a like as well. Thank you, AJ, for reminding me. 210 of you here, 42 likes. Let's get that up to 100 if we can. That would be epic. It's maybe a big ask with 210 of you here, but it'd be amazing if it gets triple figures, so that would be absolutely great. So there we go. I don't know if we need tyres on this, by the way. If there's any tweaks you want me to make, if we are going to do them for Canada and beyond as well for the rest of the season with the watch-alongs, let me know. But I don't think we need tyres on there because it's qualifying and pretty much everybody will be on the soft tyre. If I bang about now, it's just some repositioning everything so I can see what's going on TV. Hopefully everything will work okay. It should do. But yeah. Theo says, wish there would be a race in South Africa again. I'd love to see us back at Kyalami, Theo. I think that'd be fantastic. It would be great. And AJ says, Sean, I honestly believe you lads get it done against Man City. You're bolder than me, AJ. I'm not quite so sure, mate. Just 1 second. If I go quiet for a second. Just repositioning the mic. If there's an echo, it's because I've got nothing behind me in terms of padding, so if I need to move I will, but hopefully it won't be too bad, and if I need to speak up, let me know. I'm just readjusting the microphone as we go so that I'm able to watch the telly and keep an eye on the timing and keep an eye on the stream and talk to you guys. Once again, you know, imagine we're in a pub, we're in my massive living room, there's 218 of us in here. It's tight, it's cramped, it's hot, it's miserable, but we're here to talk about F1. So and I've also got something set up, I'll tell you now for anybody tuning in, if you have just jumped in, no live footage from the track on stream for what I believe are obvious copyright reasons. My stream is lagging behind massively on my preview for some reason, but I think you guys are in real time with me, so that's okay. Yes, you are. That's all right. It just needed a bit of a boot up the backside, so there we go. Ready for this one. Very exciting. I need a drink, though. Orange and mango squash today. Lovely. It's actually quite nice. It's great. It's grown-up squash. For some reason, I feel like drinking squash at 38 is like really childish, and it probably is. I should be having a beer because it's a Saturday afternoon. Jonathan says, Sean, hope you're well, my friend. Love as always from the Lone Star State. Thank you very much, Jonathan. Good to see you. I'm very well, very, very well. Looking forward to this qualifying session. Looking forward to the reaction tomorrow and the lack of notes we're going to go through. That could be quite a giggle, actually, trying to do that. So yes, we will get going. I have got flags set up as well with my stream deck, so hopefully I'll be able to keep on top of those. I say red flag, green flag, and checkered flag, so you'll know when everything ends. And the clock is there as well on the live timing there for multi-viewer, so hopefully all goes okay. Any issues, just to let you know, there'll be issues with multi-viewers end, there's nothing I can do. So please don't get stroppy with me if I can't fix it, because I'll have no idea what to do. So yes, there we go. Hopefully, as the driver's lining up at the end of the pit lane, that McLaren livery, I'm really fed up of people telling me that looks like a Jordan. It does not. It looks like a 94 Benetton. I think it's 94. I think. Something like that. So yes, we are go, I believe, for qualifying. We are indeed. There we go. Lewis Hamilton, first one out on track. Everything looks like it's working okay. Like I said, it syncs up to the TV. So if you're watching on the 92 Benetton's a good shout, Nick. Yes. If you're synced up to, or you're watching on your live timing on the F1 desktop app or the mobile app, then you will be ahead, because that updates about a few seconds before anything else does, and the TV is about 8 to 9 seconds behind. So I've sort of synced it up there so that you're not seeing somebody go fastest before I say they've gone fastest. I'm watching it on TV. So yeah, Bottas in the slow lane, if you can call it a slow lane. The rules this weekend for queuing in the pits, you've got to wait for everyone to go through. You can't just bump in like you would at another track, because the pit lane's just not wide enough. You have to go to the back. So Bottas is waiting. What do we think of the Senna livery then on the McLaren? I don't dislike it, but I'm not completely sold on it. I don't know why. I'm not sure why. It looks good out on track. It does look good out on track. But it's just something about it. I don't know what it is, but it doesn't matter really. It's a tribute to Senna, so I can let it slide how it looks. But there's just something about it I'm not sure about. is how I'm feeling about that one. So yes, I'm just gonna keep an eye and make sure everything's okay with the stream, because you never know. You never know with the old FOM. You never know what they're gonna pull out. They're odd like that, so we'll see. We'll see. I don't love it. I feel like you wanted to do a Senna thing. Could they have not just done a repaint of the 1990 livery or something? That's Max. It would still be quite close to the tobacco sponsorship as a livery, wouldn't it? So they might have to be quite careful with that. So I'm not sure, but it stands out. We're not going to miss it, are we? So Mick Schumacher there in the back of the garage, behind Toto Wolff for Mercedes. Lewis Hamilton's going to be the first to do a lap today. He is just coming through turn 9 through the tunnel, where we need for next year, if not sooner, some sort of rule about backing off in a tunnel, because there have been some moments that have been tight in F1 this weekend. I know F3 was down to an engine issue, but there was a very, very brown trouser moment, squeaky bum time in F3 that would have been an airplane crash. It would have been huge. So, we just slowing down the tunnel needs to be stopping. I think they need to be just flat through the tunnel and then slow down across the Nouvelle chicane, back out and let cars go. I think that's a safer option. Hamilton is to be first to do a lap. Coming through the final corner, Anthony Nogue down the straight, over the line he goes, and it is a 1:19.550 for Lewis Hamilton. That synced up beautifully the TV. Well done, Sean. Well done. Since I'm old, I've always related McLaren as a cigarette box racing around, says Kevin. Fair enough. It had West, didn't we? That gorgeous livery. I loved that one in the 90s, the mid to late 90s, and beyond, of course. That was a nice livery. Yeah. I get it. I see the same with Jordan. The Jordan always was for me. For John T, he was a can of 7-Up as Ricciardo goes fastest on a 14.337. Sargeant goes second on a 14.0. Hamilton's lap time has been deleted. Perez lap time has been deleted as well for track limits. At Monaco, track limits is in the wall, isn't he? So yeah, Lewis Hamilton's lost his lap time. So Tsunoda fastest, 13.087. So that's an interesting one. That's a really interesting one. Hamilton track limits at turn 10, on his third lap. That's across the chicane, isn't it? So he's cut the chicane there. There we go. I think your track limit is really to look out for a cutting turn 1. And going across the chicane at turn 10. Maybe the swimming pool, but I think if you're off track at the swimming pool, you're already well out of control and in the wall anyway. So Russell's going to come across the line now. Does a 1:13.238. Hamilton back up into the fastest time. They're on a 12.9. Verstappen is quick. He's purple in the first sector. Like I say, personal best in the middle, but of course it's his first flying lap. Sargeant is third which I'd take that grid. That'd be brilliant up there in third place. Pretty much guaranteed podium for Sargeant. What's Verstappen going to do over the line? It is a 12.7. He goes fastest, but only a tenth and a half quicker than Hamilton. It's those Ferraris we need to look for. Charles Leclerc is just starting his flying lap. I thought he was going to complete it, but there you go. There you go. I like the Benetton livery from way back. I like the Benetton livery 97. I think is my favourite Benetton livery. I like the green and the gold. As the Haas boys, 1 and 2, Hulkenberg P1, Magnussen P2. Very early days. Let's not get too excited, but that would be hilarious, wouldn't it? For Q3. If they're both up there, locking out the front row. Haas 1-2 confirmed. Turn 16 incident involving cars 55. That's Sainz and Albon has been noted for impeding. So that's one to keep an eye on. I've got the another thing that with F1 Multiview or Multiview F1, you can have the race control stuff as well. So I'm keeping an eye on that for you too. So there you go. Mike said, red flag now, please. Stop it. Stop the session. Hulkenberg, Magnussen, Piastri, Verstappen. That'll do. No offense to the Ferraris. I love you, really. We want you up there. But that is a great start to the session for Haas. Long way to go, of course. F2 finished a little bit earlier as well. So there should be some rubber down, which will help. But the track will keep coming to these drivers as the session goes on. Over the line goes Leclerc. Only 6th. 1:12.8. I don't want to... I don't want to steal Martin Brundle's line, but just remember, this isn't about being fastest. This is about getting out of Q1, so that won't be disastrous, but definitely going to have to go again. I think this will be one of those sessions where everyone just keeps going and going and going with a change of tyres halfway through-ish, because they just need to get the laps in. The track will keep coming to them, so why not? And we saw it in FP3, actually. Cars getting quicker. The track was getting quicker as the session went on, even though the tyres were older, so there you go. Stop the count, says Dell. Yep, absolutely stop the count. Have Hassel left. I think Russell's about to spoil the Haas party. How dare he? It's a disgrace. Nick says Max owns the first sector. Charles much faster in sector 2. Yes, I said that at the start of the stream, or towards the start of the stream, that Max in sector 1 consistently purple this morning, and again in the session there in the purple sectors at the moment belong to Verstappen, Russell, and we've not got a purple final sector for some reason on the timing. Somebody will have it, but yeah, but then it's sector 2, he loses about a tenth and a half, doesn't he? And then, or he's tenth and a half down, and then in the final sector, it's a bit more down. So I don't know what that is, whether it's, I'll say power, but it doesn't really matter around Monaco as much, does it? I mean, you need power, otherwise you ain't going anywhere. Russell P1, Hamilton up to 3rd. Drop zone, Bottas, Perez, Ricciardo, Zhou, and Sainz at the moment. Verstappen is going quicker. Sainz moves up to 2nd place, just behind Russell. Nothing in it at all. Ashink Ali says, hello, I'm new, but don't forget to see the cars being driven. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, Ashink, because you're new. No, Ashink, because I can't for copyright. Otherwise, believe me, I would. So it's live timing from Multiview by F1 or for F1. I'll get that right before the end of the stream, and you've got my waffle, I'm afraid. So I'd love to be able to, but I can't, so I apologise. But that's a complaint for the old FOM. Piastri is on one. Purple in the middle sector, 3/10 quicker than Verstappen, who's just gone fastest. He's absolutely flying. He's, of the two McLarens, I don't believe in jinxes. I'm not going to do it, but I nearly smacked the wall. In fact, I think he did hit the wall. That was close. He's looked the quicker of the two McLarens this weekend, and he does go fastest by 0.2 of a second. Did he hit that wall at the final corner? That was close. That is close. Wow. I want to see that on board, or off board, really. You want to see, don't you? Leclerc he improved in the first, but he's down in the second. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, sorry, Master's just saying about 40 seconds behind. Mike's 20 seconds behind. That's the downside. I think YouTube gets a lot right with streaming. As we watch Ricciardo, what's he going to do? Traffic. Oh, yes, that is traffic. And if that's a hot lap, that's probably a penalty there for the Saab. We'll see what they decide. But yeah, no, that's one of the, they get a lot right with streaming to YouTube. But it's one area Twitch is superior. Is the latency? It's a bit more real time. So yeah, that's. If I ever stop doing this on YouTube, I'd probably go off to Twitch and stream over there for these, because it's a bit more with it. But yeah, the only advice I've got, if you want to avoid spoilers or I'm ruining it for you, is to maybe just try and sync yours up if you can, pausing if you're able to with the clock on stream there on the top right ish. Is my advice. But I know it's not a complaint at me, Marta and Mike. I know that it's a YouTube thing. It's a wonderful thing. We love it really. He looked like he touched the wall. Yeah. I was sort of glancing at it. I was watching the times at the same time. So what's Gasly doing? My bold pick for Q3. Gasly is third at the minute. So long way to go. Leclerc says this is the worst position. We are out of phase with everybody. So he's not happy. And the stewards have noted that incident with Ricciardo, Zhou and Bottas up at turn 3, which could be impeding. So everyone's improving. As you can see, the timing screens are green, purple all over the place. So it's he says as everyone suddenly just doesn't improve. So thanks for that, guys. Perez was in the drop zone, only 14th. He has been... Verstappen's been vocal on the radio about the problems, but there's no doubt whatsoever Perez seems to be the most peed off. Verstappen isn't happy in that car, where it is, but Perez is really unhappy. He could be in trouble here, and I'm really concerned for Perez because we were hoping Imola was a blip, is what we said last Sunday in the reaction, and we don't want to see him do what he did last year, where he just, after Miami, he just fell away, had those really bad runs in qualifying, which compromised his race, and yes, he was able to turn those races into decent results, but there are a lot of problems, so I hope that is going to be... Yeah, better than that for Perez, because he's not going to... I think Tsunoda will be quicker, Ricciardo quicker. Yeah, Perez needs to step it up, definitely. Oh, I get you, Marta. I'm with you now. Sorry, I kind of read half the comments, so apologies. That's okay. Somebody as well, I'm sure, in chat will keep me updated with the football to wind me up when City goes 6-0 up in 3 minutes or something like that. So there you go. I'm trying to avoid that. Vestas, at least last year, Perez had won 2 races by this point. That's true. That is true. Yeah. If they're not interested in science, there's a lack of options, isn't it? That's the problem for Red Bull, as Hamilton goes second, 11.916. 300ths off Piastri. Sainz improves to 4th. There's definitely more pace in that Ferrari. Leclerc was out of sync, so he wasn't happy. Yeah. We'll do driver talk tomorrow at some point, I'm sure, as well. But we'll keep an eye on Perez. He's definitely going to have to go again. Although I'd probably argue, with the way the track evolves at Monaco and how close it seems to be, I mean, we've got, less than a 10th between the top 5. Everybody's probably going to have to go again, as Perez has another lap time deleted. But I think that the race control thing is just deleting times they try to get out of the way. So I'll try and not get too excited by that. But yeah. Hey, Beef and Barley. Good to see you. Kaori's here as well. Hey, Kaori. Sits in the races, also having the map up while watching quali provides so much context. Yeah, I wasn't sure whether to use it or not, to be honest, because they didn't want so much data on the screen. But I think it does. It enhances the watch along, doesn't it? Definitely. I can't show the footage, but I can show you that. So that's a good thing. It definitely has context to everything. And we see where everyone is as well, which is always helpful because the TV doesn't always show you, does it? As Leclerc is improving, personal best. He is on. It says used tyres on the timing. So I assume this is still the same tyres. I don't think he's pitted yet. We've got a yellow flag. It should light up on the thing. It hasn't. So we'll keep an eye. Double yellow at sector 15. And they've got going again, whoever it was. I didn't spot it on the map. I was watching Leclerc, who improves to P1. Improves massively to P1. A 1:11.653 on the soft tyre. Used soft tyre according again to the timing. So that's an interesting one. Again, pacey from Haas. Magnussen P2, only 0.179 off. Hulkenberg just a few hundredths behind in third. So Haas looking really pacey here. And I guess it's a question for you guys, really. What you would do if you were a team boss. Would you put everything in on qualifying at Monaco? Would you focus solely on one lap pace? Because you know that if you can be... Let's say Haas finished second and third in Q3 and they've optimised qualifying and their race pace is CAC. Doesn't really matter, does it? Because it's Monaco. No one's going to overtake them, realistically, or not really. That'll be easy. Certainly, following Kevin Magnussen, it won't be easy. But optimise qualifying, and you've got yourself a great chance of big points. So, might lose a place or two, but they're not going to fall down to last, are they? Just because it's just, yeah, I don't know. It's always one that you have to balance in Monaco. We're watching Alex Albon on TV at the moment. Stroll has gone third. Russell's gone fastest. Yeah, isn't it? Yeah, track is ramping up massively. They've all got to go again here. Perez drops into the drop zone. Albon, the driver, at risk. 1.6 between the whole field. Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. I think everyone needs to go again, really. Just to be safe. Just to be safe. Do you think overtake will be possible tomorrow if there's rain? Says Evdo. Tsunoda goes purple in middle sector, by the way. Keep an eye on him. Albon goes 5th. Bottas goes up to 18th. There are more opportunities with the rain, but it's still tough to overtake. But people are more likely to make mistakes, aren't they, I suppose? Locking up, etc. Sliding off into the runoffs at Mirabeau. But I thought the opportunity is the same, but it's also wetter offline, isn't it? So you've got to be careful that it's, not much. It's probably riskier to make an overtake, but you'll get more opportunities because of mistakes and people putting the wrong tyre on and things like that. I think that's the last year was chaos towards the end, wasn't it? That final stint of the race. Perez, what can he do? So he's coming around the final corner now. Is Sergio Perez to the line. Gasly a 1:12.1. Perez only a 1:12 flat, only 14th. Perez is in trouble here. Norris is only 18th. He should improve from there, but Perez in trouble here. We've got 1 minute and 43 to go. He's going to have to recharge and go for an absolute... He can't pit, so he's going to have to make it work with these tyres and go for a stonking lap. Alonso's not safe either in 13th, unless he's putting a lap together now. Personal best first sector, so he might go to improve. He's got traffic ahead of him with Norris and Gasly. It's a big... Yeah, this is... Let's see. He's got time for another lap, so it's not over yet. He's got to rely on Sargeant, Gasly, Ricciardo. I mean, Norris is good. You'd expect Norris to improve. And someone's just pulled in front of Norris. I hope Norris went on a hot lap there. He wasn't, so that's okay. I think he's on an out lap. We'll see. Alonso not improving. Loads of traffic. Alonso avoids it nicely. They've all got well out of the way. He comes to the final corner. It wasn't a great middle sector from Alonso. He is down. It's a 1:11.4 for Russell. He's not out. No, Alonso doesn't improve. He's not going to get enough time to go again. Alonso, 40 seconds to go. He's not enough time to recharge. He's going to have to keep going if he can. But I think Alonso's in trouble. Perez needs to hook a lap up. I don't think Alonso can go again. Norris is just starting his lap now. No mistakes. He can't make a single mistake and he's got to be quick. I know, obvious statement. I hear it. I hear the obvious statement. Please do drop a like, by the way. I've got over 700 of you here now. That's fantastic. Please do drop a like. That'd be really appreciated. Let's get that well over 100. Let's go for 200 or 300. Let's go crazy. Go crazy. Likes for Albon in P6. Why not? That is the checkered flag for the session. We've still got people completing laps, so let's see what happens here. Sargeant moves up into 14th. Logan Sargeant, as it stands, in Q2. Albon goes 4th. Extra likes for Albon then, please. Up in 4th. Norris is improving. He's okay. Love the onboard through the Nouvelle chicane. He's got to back now. Going to flick left. Good speed through there. He's got the swimming pool. He's just got to keep this clean now. Perez is improving. Is it going to be enough? That's going to be the big question now, because at the moment, Perez, Gasly, Norris, Bottas, Zhou in trouble. I think Sargeant is going to miss out here on Q2 unless Norris messes up. Norris is nice and clean through that final corner. Should get through. Gasly goes P7, which puts Perez well out. Norris goes 9th. What is Checo going to do? Piastri goes 2nd. It's all on Perez here. Alonso is out. Alonso is definitely out of the session, out-qualified by Stroll. What can Sergio Perez do? He's out. Sergio Perez and Fernando Alonso out in Q1. Not only out, but 18th place and half a second off the pace from Sergio Perez. So that is Perez and Alonso both out in Q1. Sargeant out qualifying Perez. My prediction from Thursday of the Saubers making Q2 went successfully well. Sensationally well. Bottas a second off the pace in 19th and Joe a second and a half off the pace in 20th. So there we go. So Russell ended the session fastest from Piastri, 8 thousandths of a second behind Lewis Hamilton, 300ths behind in third. Half a tenth behind Sainz in fourth. Leclerc less than a tenth off the pace in fifth. Albon only 0.131 off the fastest time in sixth. Verstappen a couple of tenths off in seventh. Gasly only a couple of tenths off in eighth. Stroll also a couple of tenths off in ninth, as was Norris in 10th and Ricciardo in 11th. 3 tenths off for Magnussen in 12th. Tsunoda 3 tenths off in 13th. Nearly 4 tenths for Hulkenberg. Again, for Ocon, nearly 4 tenths in 15th. Alonso is 16th, half a second off. Sargeant 17th, Perez 18th, Bottas 19th, and Zhou Guanyu in 20th place. So our talk last week about this being a blip for Checo, that's concerning. Oh dear. Just double checking that there's no, or double checkoing. There's nothing that I've missed on the deleted lap times or anything that might, but that is a disaster for Sergio Perez. Think back to last year in Monaco. What did he qualify last year? I feel like he was around there last year in Monaco. 2023 Monaco Grand Prix. Let's have a look. Sergio Perez last year qualified. Someone's going to tell me before I even get there. Qualified in... where was he last year, Perez? I can't even find... Oh, he was 20th. So it's even worse last year. 13.8. So, I mean, he's quicker than he was last year. I mean, that's something, isn't it? But, no, that's yeah. So, again, knocked out in Q1 in Monaco. Oh, dear. I saw somebody, I don't know who it was. You'll know who you were. Popped up and said something along the lines of Sainz liked that, or the person who likes Perez's lap was Sainz. That's, I thought, yeah, not great. We'll not do driver talk. We'll not do that. We're not going to do it. Not doing transfer talk today, but any more than we already have. But yeah, that's concerning for Perez. I want to see, it's difficult because Albon's 6th, but I want to give Logan Sargeant some praise because he's out qualified a Red Bull, and he was at one stage looking like he might make Q2. Obviously, he didn't make Q2, but I want to give him some praise. But when your teammate is 6th place, only a tenth and a bit off the fastest time, that's frustrating. So that's Q1 Sancho is done. Just Q1 is over. We've still got Q2 and Q3 to come in this bizarre... We've got yellow flags out there. I assume Marshall's clearing parts of the track. But yes, no, qualifying still going. We've got Q2 and Q3 yet. I assume Sergio Perez is, let's say, unhappy over the radio. Going to watch on board. Anthony Davis is doing some of his analysis. I do like Ant Davidson. I say it every time we do these watch-alongs, but I do. He catches the curb, the sausage curb on the inside of what is turn 16, turn 15, 16. Yeah, swapper on oversteer out that final corner, which has cost him time. It's just not a very good lap from Checo, but that's gonna. It is more important than last year. This because, and it's not me being going with hyperbole. That's not what I'm doing, but it is more important this year because that battle at the front is getting closer now. We've got McLaren have made a massive step forward. Ferrari, like they're in the mix. Red Bull need Sergio Perez up there more than ever this season. So he can't be doing this consistently. But that's a bad day for Checo. It's a bad day for Alonso as well. Actually, see, I thought he was after practice this weekend. I thought he had a shot at some really decent points this weekend on Sunday, but it's not really worked out for him. But shout out to Albon as saying 6th place. Piastri still looking the quicker of the two McLarens at this phase. Gasly up in 8th place. That's a great lap as well. Both of the Haas drivers are through. Not just Hulkenberg. So that's good for them. I think this is going to be really tight, and it's almost like a race in a lot of ways, isn't it? Or a time trial, but with other cars on track. So it's still a race, I guess. as they all queue at the end of the pit lane, because they're just going round and round and round and round and round. So it's 15 minutes of action coming up. So we'll see what happens here. John says, looks like I've got some new people in chat today. Welcome. Absolutely welcome. It's good to see you. Please do subscribe if you are new to the channel. It would be great to have you here. If these work out okay, these watch-alongs, we'll keep doing them for the rest of the season. That would be fantastic, assuming all goes well. So please do subscribe and drop a like as well. Always appreciated. And make sure you check out the link in the description to Multiviewer for F1 if you want lots of data when you watch your F1. I know some people like to just watch the action and they don't want loads of timing screens, but I like to have loads of stuff. But FIA stewards are investigating, by the way, a few things going on. They can investigate Sargeant, Stroll, Hamilton, Tsunoda, Ocon for not following the race director's instructions of maximum delta time. So I assume nothing will happen there because it just doesn't. But yeah, I echo John's words. Welcome everybody that's new. Good to have you here. It'd be fantastic. Subs are always welcome as well. It'd be nice to see the channel get some growth. Yeah, my fault. I'm not blaming anybody else. We are green for Q2. Who's first out there? Was it Leclerc first out? No, Hulkenberg was first out by the look of it. Ricciardo, Albon, Norris, Verstappen, and Leclerc. Good stuff. Good stuff. We'll wait for them to get their laps together. What are you saying in chat? Let's see. Very disappointed my Sauber team today. As Peter Sauber used to say, when you're at the bottom, the only way is up, says Pascal. That's a really positive way of looking at it, Pascal. Absolutely agree. The only way is up for Sauber. And I think I've said this before, but Sauber this season and next season just feel like a team going through the motions because they're waiting, aren't they, for 2026? They still want to have good seasons. They're not writing things off. I don't mean it like that, as Hulkenberg goes top of the leaderboard, but without time, that's just his outlap. He's just starting his lap now. But yeah, I'm not talking about writing seasons off or anything stupid like that, but all their focus is really on 26, and it feels like this is very like they're in limbo a little bit these 2 years. So I'm not reading too much into where they are, but they're a bit inconsistent, aren't they? One weekend they're where they are today, another weekend they're in with a shot of Q3 occasionally or something like that. So I'm just going to move that subscriber box so it doesn't go over the track map just in case. There we go. Did you used to have Jonty on your streams back in the day? I'm imagining it, says Alice. I did, yeah. I used to have Jonty here. Jonty prefers Wednesday evening streams when we do them. So it would be good to have. We did a couple of watch-ons with Jonty, but I was watching Sky coverage. He was watching Sky coverage on Sky Go, so he was like a minute behind. So I was just the last one he did with me was a race one where it was one where Vettel crashed from the lead at Hockenheim, and I went absolutely mad. And of course, he had to wait a minute to see it, and it ruined the race for him. So we stopped doing them with him there. So there we go. That was what we did there. Verstappen, purple in the first sector. Hulkenberg 111.9, so he goes fastest at the moment. First one to do a lap, obviously, so not too excited by that. We'll see what everybody else does as they come through and over the line. Should be Ricciardo. It is indeed 112.1. He's going to get his lap in. Then I think it's Norris. Yeah, Max always purple first sector, Nick. It is. I can stop saying it. Max is quickest in the first sector. Of course he is. Of course he is. Leclerc fastest in the middle sector. Norris fastest in the third and goes fastest. Fastest. What's Verstappen going to do? He does go quickest on a 111.1. What is Leclerc going to do? Purple first sector for Verstappen. Last sector is Norris's at the moment. And Tsunoda currently with the fastest middle sector. Leclerc only second, 2/10 off. Ocon saying he's been blocked. I'm sure we'll get a replay of that one. Hulkenberg. What are we watching for Hulkenberg? Is there somebody out the pit lane or? I'm not really sure what we're watching. Oh, big big snap on the exit of Sandovot, actually. Does he? Oh, he hits the wall with his left rear. That's a nice little tag there, but he's all right. Yeah, all still pointing in the right direction. All still working okay. But Hulkenberg did clout the wall. We're going to see lots of that today. I love how the barrier through... I always get it wrong. 15 and 16 moves. I know barriers are supposed to move to a point, but it sort of moves out of the way. They push it out of the way as they're turning in. That's always quite amusing. Yes. First time in a long time, we've gone over 1,000 viewers, by the way, on the stream. So thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. If you're new, please do subscribe and drop a like as well. We're over 100 now, so let's keep that going. That'd be fantastic. We're giving likes for Albon in Q1. We'll give likes for Tsunoda today in Q2 because he's up in third place. That'd be appreciated. Thank you very much. You can support the stream through all the usual stuff as well, super chats and all that in the description. But I'll always come to you in chat, as you'll know, if you've been watching for the last hour. We do talk, so yes. I don't just ignore you. I definitely don't. It's 6 years since Vettel's Hockenheim crash. Good God. Thanks for that, Moray. I'm going to go to bed and cry this afternoon for multiple reasons, probably. Sainz has gone fastest while we've been talking there. 11-1, 10 minutes to go in this session. Watching Lewis Hamilton from the helicopter cam. I know Sky have said this. I'm not ripping it off from them. I think I said it last year. The coverage of the Monaco Grand Prix in terms of camera angles and TV direction is so much better now it's done in-house and isn't been done by people in Monaco. I have to say the camera angles are great. Some of the lower cameras really give you a great idea of how quick these cars are going through the swimming pool. Verstappen, brace yourself, purple in the first sector, as he has been pretty much all weekend. Hamilton's coming through the final corner now. Let's see what he does. The cars step out through there, don't they? Just waiting for him to clout that wall. And Hamilton moves up into only 8th place on used tyres. So used tyres at the moment for Sainz, Piastri and Hamilton, apparently, and Russell as well. Verstappen goes fastest, 11 flat, a tenth and a half quicker. And Hulkenberg and Ocon will be investigated after the race. So I assume Ocon's been blocked by Hulkenberg. That's what he was talking about there. Russell 9th. Philip, thank you very much, Philip. Says, I've got you in sync with F1 TV now. A little bit of pausing and playing and using the track map. Enjoying your stream. Thank you very much, Philip. Good to have you here, mate. Appreciate your company this afternoon. All of your company this afternoon. This is what I like about the watch-alongs when we just sit and watch F1 together. It's like, If Hulkenberg is on an outlap, which he is, that is a penalty. That is all day long. Although it's difficult to get out of the way there, but that on any other track, that's a penalty. On Monaco, it probably will be a penalty, but you never quite know with these stewards, do you? So, the helicopter shots are great. We didn't used to have helicopter shots too often, did we, in Monaco? Not sure why. If you are just tuning in, by the way, we've already lost Fernando Alonso 16th, Logan Sargeant 17th, Sergio Perez 18th, Bottas and Joe 19th and 20th. At the moment in the drop zone is Albon, Magnussen, Hulkenberg, Ricciardo and Gasly. I think that's about to change because Albon's improving, not by enough though. He better in the first and final sector, but still down on his overall time. So that is your bottom 5 at the moment. Verstappen quickest. Despite everything that's happened this weekend, I'm still fully expected to say at the end of this stream, Max Verstappen pole position. It reminds me, stick with me on this. Can you remember when Mercedes were dominating and we had Toto saying, car's terrible, we're going to be nowhere, it's awful. It's where that meme was born from. I can't remember what it was exactly. It was something along the lines of roses are red, violets are blue, Mercury in trouble, Mercedes 1-2, something like that. It'll feel like we're back in that era a little bit, in that Red Bull seem to struggle but still take pole or win the race. You're like, oh, okay, fair enough. So I won't believe it till I see it with them. Thank you very much, Max. That's good news for a change. Thank you. I'm sure we'll still lose 6-1, but yeah, I appreciate that, mate. Thank you for the update. I'm not watching it. I'd rather watch me qualifying, definitely. Yeah, so I feel like we're in that phase at the moment where you just can't quite believe it. Over the line goes Gasly up in 6th place. Do you know what? I'm feeling more confident about my bold prediction now. Pierre Gasly. Ocon's up in 4th, for goodness sake. Tsunoda 3rd. This is fantastic for those guys. Hopefully they can keep that up and give us some surprises in Q3. Ocon was a big surprise last year, wasn't he? And managed to get a podium in the end. So, yes. Near 4 reviews, this lovely place to find a load of people in a lovely place to actually find a watch along. That's really cool. Thanks very much. Thank you very much, Near 4. I appreciate your support there. That's awesome. Great to have you with us. I just like hanging out and talking F1. I don't know why I stopped doing what. Well, I think no, it was timing, wasn't it? I couldn't get decent, consistent timing, so I stopped doing it. So if this works out and there are no issues, then I'd like to do them consistently over the next few race, certainly till the summer break, and we'll see how we go. That could be a good trial, couldn't it? Lots of races. We've got 5 races in 6 weeks after Canada. week off, and then 5 and 6 weeks. So lots to come this side of the summer break. So we'll see how we go. Definitely. But there's 1,200 of you here, nearly 1,300. So that's awesome. Thank you very much for your support. So let's get back to qualifying now. It's nice to get kind words. I generally do. You get one or two. You always get one or two. You're just inevitably going to. It's the internet, but not everybody's going to be lovely. There'll be a reaction stream tomorrow for the race. We won't do one for qualifying, Vesk, but I will stay live for 20 minutes, half an hour after qualifying's finished, so we can wrap it up for those who want to listen to a summary a little bit later on playback. So, but there'll be reaction tomorrow, but not today. So, well, I suppose technically a reaction, is it? Hamilton coming around the final corner though, down the straight, or the start-finish banana, as we like to call it, and actually goes third fastest. Was purple in the middle, 1:11.110. I assume we're going to get a few people pitting now. There seems to be Verstappen, Tsunoda, Gasly, Stroll and Ricciardo in the pits. Just watching us coming around. Piastri's around the final corner now. I'm guessing people have to go in new tyres and go again. I'd be surprised if they don't. Piastri goes fastest on a 1:10.7. That's a stonking lap from Aussie P. I won't use the other name that came up in testing with autocorrect. And there's Russell into the 110s as well, a 1:10.9. So this track is just ramping up and ramping up and ramping up. Sorry if I keep headbutting the microphone, by the way. I keep leaning all over the place to make sure things are working. Sambit wants to know what happened to Perez. Perez just didn't get a lap together. Twitchy car, oversteer, not happy with the setup, and ended up down in P18. So no crash or anything, not like last year with that huge accident, or fairly hefty whack at least. But yeah, he's out, as is Fernando Alonso. Alonso almost the biggest surprise, actually, thinking about it. No disrespect to Sergio Perez, but I felt Alonso was pretty rapid. Perez has been really unhappy with his car all weekend. Fernando seemed all right in practice, unless I'm misremembering practice, which is very possible. Tsunoda the only one in the pits, by the way. Everybody out on track. Kevin says nobody hit the wall yet. Dang, that's Kevin jinxing that. We're about to get 6 red flags in succession. Leclerc goes second place, 0.069. Nice. In second place. Love that from Charles. If you are new, by the way, I am a Ferrari fan, and I apologise. It's depressing at times. It really is. So it's nice to see him up there. Norris coming through to back now into the swimming pool. I love that shot. That shot is great as they come through there towards Rascas, or La Rascas, I suppose. Yep. Through Anthony Noakes onto the banana. See what he does here in a banana. Funnily enough, what's he going to do? Get close to Piastri. He goes faster than Piastri by 200ths of a second. Took me a second to work out what that was then. Albon's improving. He's personal best first and second. He's quicker than Gasly, which is the time you need to get out at the moment. 2.5 minutes-ish to go, just over. So we'll see what happens here. What can Albon do? He's got time, Albon, to back off, recharge, and go again. So plenty of time for that. See what he can do. Will he get through? He does. He goes 8th, does Alex Albon. So at the moment, your drop zone is Gasly, Stroll, Magnussen, Hulkenberg, and Ricciardo. Ocon is your driver at risk. Come on, Pierre. I made a bold prediction at the start of this stream. Let's get you into Q3. That'd be epic. Or any Alpine into Q3 would be great. Gasly's on a slow lap at the moment. Maybe hit traffic because the clock is going. So yes. 2 minutes to go then. We already did a 2-minute thing. 2-minute warning, as I like to put on TV. So fastest time at the minute, Norris, 1:10.7. 1:10.7 as well for Piastri. Very close between them. Leclerc is third. Watching Stroll on board, which is always good fun. I don't know where you're watching. By the way, if you've got the TV on or whatever, you're watching it on your computer or your mobile or wherever you watch things these days. Kids. I still watch on TV. Traditional media for sure, and why not? I've got it recording on a VHS as we speak. Lance Stroll coming through into Portier and towards the tunnel. A bit of a twitch on the exit there for Stroll. Nicely corrected. Might have cost him a bit. To the Nouvelle chicane, which is not new by a long way. And then comes towards that, one of my favourite corners on the calendar. Even though it's Monaco, it's to back. I just love that corner. It's mental. There's lots of traffic, but it seems to be getting out of the way quite nicely for Lance Stroll. Hulkenberg improves to P12. That might be... We got too excited about Haas here. We definitely did. As Stroll comes through the final corner, onto the banana. What can he do? 1:11.2 to beat Ocon It's a 1:11. I've lost the time. Where's it gone? Oh, they're still there. 1:11.5. So Stroll is out. Both Astons will not be in Q3. Or neither Astons will be in Q3. Not good for them. Verstappen goes second and joins the McLarens on a 1:10.7. It is so ridiculously close. 0.2 between the top 5. Less than a tenth between the top 4. Thank you very much to Mike for your super chat. If you want to put your own super chat in, feel free. You don't have to. I will always come to you in chat, of course. Thank you very much, Mike. Says, like the stream to honour Oscar Piastri and Daniel Ricciardo turning Q2 into an Australian sandwich only for a moment. Thank you very much, Mike. Yes, please do leave a like and subscribe if you're new as well. I've got the reaction with Stuart, aka Chamber, tomorrow around about 5 p.m. BST, depending on red flags and safety cars. And there'll be content, of course, out between now and Canada and then across the Canada weekend as well. And we'll try and do these throughout the rest of the season as well, because I'm quite enjoying this. This is nice. So the checkered flag has dropped. I've not been paying attention. Press your button, Sean. There we go. Norris is currently fastest, so it's Tsunoda at the moment improving. He's P10. We've lost Ocon. We've lost Hulkenberg. Sean's doing a little dance because he's just realised Pierre Gasly, P5. I think I just got a prediction right. Tsunoda goes into 9th. Albon now the driver at risk, but I think he is okay. So I think we've lost as the camera focuses on my Liam Lawson. Esteban Ocon out. Nico Hulkenberg out. Daniel Ricciardo out. We know Stroll is out and Magnussen as well. So Norris tops the session. Verstappen second. Piastri third. Leclerc fourth. Can we have likes and oh my gods in the chat, please? Sean was right. P5 for Pierre Gasly. Russell in 6th. Hamilton 7th. Sainz 8th. Tsunoda 9th, Albon in 10th, and out go Ocon, Hulkenberg, Ricciardo, Stroll and Magnussen to join. Alonso, Sargeant, Perez, Bottas and Zhou in not taking part in qualifying any further. Apparently 2-0 to United, so thank you very much. That's Ferrari pole and an FA Cup win. The beers are coming out. I'll be doing the stream tomorrow with a hangover. Definitely. Yeah, that would be. I'm quite surprised at that. No, cool. So you asked for a bold prediction at the start of the stream. I said Pierre Gasly would make Q3. A few of you said, wow, that's bold. Pierre Gasly's made Q3. Well done. Nick says, no wonder Sainz wants to join Williams. Peter for Albon. Yeah, I mean, do you know what? Timings-wise, half a second separates the top 10. We have less than a tenth between the top 4. And it's so tight in behind that. I'm always reluctant to say it because I know how this goes. But I think this is anyone's game. Look, by anyone, I don't mean literally anyone. I think both McLarens, Verstappen, Leclerc, you'd have to throw Sainz in there as well then if you put Leclerc in there. I've got a shot at pole here. But... Do you know, actually, I'm a little bit surprised at Mercedes' pace. I thought they were a bit quicker than that. This seemed to be this weekend, but I thought that's falling into the Sky F1 trap, isn't it? They do every Friday where Hamilton or George Russell will be fastest in FP1 and they'll go, oh, they're in it this weekend. Mercedes are back. It's great. And then they end up 11th and 12th in qualifying or something. So, Q3 will be in a couple of minutes, Ghost Hunter. Not long for Q3. Is it 10 minutes? Or 5 minutes. I can't remember what the gap is between sessions now. They used to tell us, but I can't remember now. It's enough time for Sky to squeeze adverts in despite charging a fortune for the coverage, which is fair enough. It's expensive to cover F1, I suppose. So, yeah. So, just to confirm, Ocon, Hulkenberg, Ricciardo, Stroll and Magnussen out. Alonso, Sargeant, Perez, Bottas and Zhou went out at the end of Q1 as well. I'll do my normal usual YouTuber spiel now. I know people don't like it, but I like to make sure I keep saying it because it's the only way to prompt people. Please do leave a like. Nearly 1,600 of you here. Let's get that well over 200 or 300 likes. We can do better than that. 163. Let's get the likes up. It helps the support, helps the channel. Doesn't cost anything. Yeah, just drop a like. It'd be appreciated. Also, subscribe as well. Lots of content coming up this season. We've still got Q3 to enjoy as well. And I'm live tomorrow, 5 p.m. BST, with Stuart for the race reaction. Link in the description as well to check out Multiview by F1 or for F1. So you can get your own awesome, sexy overlay sorted. So when you're watching, when you're watching your F1, if you like lots of data, it's all there for you, lots of stuff. So definitely check those guys out. And thank you to them as well for providing the live timing. And do you know what? Hardly anybody asks you about track footage, so I can't even show you my meme. I'm very disappointed. Very disappointed. But also relieved that people get it. It's cool. The track map probably helping a little bit, I suppose. Perez chatting to Sky. Says couldn't get in the rhythm in qualifying. Says he got traffic on his final lap as well. So there you go. Yeah, there you go. I don't know what. I'll keep it out of that. We can talk about Perez tomorrow and a bit later as well. I'll have lots of some quotes. It might be easier than trying to go silent on stream for 10 minutes and listen to him. But we'll see what he says in his post-race or post-qualifying quotes. Probably not good. But if you've got traffic, I've not seen any investigations. So I don't know what the traffic was. But it's not even necessarily... To be fair, it's not even necessarily... about impeding, is it? Sometimes it's distracting. John Joe says mention Patreon. I mentioned Patreon, but I know that's something that people... That's a long-term supporting the F1 word if you follow. So that's for people I think that are less likely to on the stream, but I'll mention it anyway. You can support the channel through Patreon. You can send a contribution through PayPal, and of course you can use Super Chats as well if you want to pop anything in and got a burning question you simply must ask, or I'll come to in chat and see if I can pick it up. But I can't promise I'll read every chat message, of course, but Super Chats I have to read unless they're rude. And then I don't, but yes. Thank you, Ghost Hunter. Appreciate that. But we are getting ready now. James Vowles is chatting to Sky. I do like James Vowles. I still think he's doing all right. Williams, he's had a lot of criticism lately with the chassis not being ready, the third chassis or whatever. Some of the things going on, but I think it's all about... It feels like he's walked into Williams, picked it up, not literally, and given it a really good shake. And I think that's why we're seeing some of the teething problems that are happening at Williams are probably because he's finding things that they need to change. And of course, if you've got a team that's been around for a long time and knows the ways they work and the ways they operate have been ingrained in that team for years and years and years, it's gonna cause upset if you start, shaking the team and trying to make changes. So there are going to be problems along the way, but I think he's doing generally a really good job, and they're on the right track. But I'm hopefully Williams will be one of those teams that take advantage of 2026 regulations. Ice Living wants to know what they've missed. So you've missed Sergio Perez and Fernando Alonso going out in Q1, and was it really a surprising Q2 going out? Ocon, Hulkenberg, Ricciardo, Stroll, Magnussen. It was all really close in there, so I don't think so. I know, John. I know I do. I know I definitely need to, but I'm not self-deprecating and self-doubting quite a lot. So I definitely do. I totally understand that. A lot of YouTubers do, but I was going to say, I don't know how to describe myself really. Just me. But quite self-deprecating. And we're about to go green. They're at the end of the pit lane. There are a few cars. They're queuing. Lewis Hamilton's one of them. He's behind Pierre Gasly in the queue. I think there's a Ferrari at the front of it. As soon as it goes green, we'll have 12 minutes to set the grid for tomorrow's Monaco Grand Prix. And actually, potentially, as many will probably point out in comments later and on social media, perhaps even decide the race for tomorrow. Again, I'll make the point. I said at the start, only 3 of the last 6 or 3 of the last 7 have been decided by the pole sitter, or been won by the pole sitter. So there we go. Quick drink as the cars leave the garage then. Thank you very much to... I'm going to butcher your name and I'm so sorry. Iasonus. I'm sorry if I butchered that one. I'll give you a like. I apologise if I butchered that. You know who you are. Thank you very much for your super chat. I really appreciate the support, and I'm sorry for destroying your name. I'm not good. I'm not good with pronunciation. Oh, orange and mango is so nice. Sorry. Carlos Sainz Sr. On camera at the moment while the drivers ramp up for their laps, get the tyres in the right window, get ready for this one. Annette is supporting Oscar. Last Australia, I really like Oscar Piastri, and I root for him quite a bit. He's made mistakes at times, of course he has, but sometimes he does seem to get quite a bit of bad luck from time to time. Gets quite a bit of bad luck, and I feel for him. So I'd like to see him do a good job this weekend. It'd be good to see him. Again, no disrespect to Norris, but I'd like to see Piastri out qualify him today and maybe out race him as well and get himself a podium or even a win. That'd be fantastic. Who was the last Aussie to win? Will it be Daniel? It will be Daniel Ricciardo, won't it? Last Aussie to win a race in F1, I think. So Carlos Sainz on the run down to Mirabeau, which is turn 5, if you prefer your corner numbers. Some people do. Into the hairpin at turn 6. I think that used to be. I'm sure that used to be turn 7 years ago. I might be wrong. I seem to think there was a little kink before it was technically 6 and then it became 7, but no. And that's Sainz backing off there. Sainz did back off, so mistakes maybe. I turned to look at the track map instead of watching him there. Lewis Hamilton, obviously purple in the first sector, first one to go proper quicker. Oh, no, Russell as well. Russell's out there too. Verstappen currently top of the timesheets, but hasn't actually got a time yet. That's all on sector times on his outlap. Hamilton looks like he might be heading to the top of the timesheets for now through the Nouvelle chicane. Who do you have a pole and 2, 3? So my prediction on Thursday was Verstappen for pole. So my 2 and 3 would have been probably a McLaren and a Ferrari. So let's say Piastri and Leclerc. But since Thursday, do you know what? Screw it. I went bold with Gasly. I'm doing it again. Piastri for pole. Verstappen P2. Leclerc 3. Yeah, there you go. I'm not confident on that, I'll be clear, but I was also not confident on Gasly and I was right, so there we go. Because see Gasly gets sort of ahead of Tsunoda, I think it would be nice just to finish his day off today. He goes 4th at the moment. Leclerc purple in the middle sector. Hamilton is the fastest at the moment, 1:10.9. Used tyres, by the way, for Albon, for Gasly, for Norris, and for Tsunoda. Everyone else new tyres. Leclerc over the line, hugging the wall down the straight. Goes fastest to 1:10.4. I retract my Piastri prediction. That is a stonking lap from Leclerc. That said, Piastri goes second on a 1:10.4. 0.026 between them. Could this be Leclerc versus Piastri for pole position? Because Norris is half a second off the pace of Leclerc and his teammate. They are two. I love the word. 2 stonking laps. I love the word stonking. I'm sorry. I can't help it. That is fantastic. And Sainz goes third on the 1:10.6. That's decent on its own. Wow. At the moment, Verstappen down in 8th, 20 seconds off the pace, I assume with some sort of issue. Brace yourself. He's gone fastest in the first sector. So we'll see whether or not as Gasly goes 6th, what Verstappen can do out there on the rest of his lap. But at the moment, it's Leclerc v Piastri, which is not what I was expecting on Thursday when I did those predictions. Yes, quite, Kevin. That's a good point, yeah. Russell goes 4th, half a second off. On new tyres, should be said. Hamilton on new as well. Verstappen's only 0.056 down in the middle, or overall in this lap, but it was a personal best middle sector. Comes through Rascasse, pushing hard, and then through the final corner. Whoa, back end just steps out there. It always does, doesn't it? Out of that final corner. Over the line goes Max Verstappen, 1:10.567. So a 10th.5 down. This looks like, knocks on wood, Leclerc v Piastri for pole. Nothing in it. Absolutely so close at the front. Could you imagine? Piastri pole at Monaco. See, I'm a Ferrari fan. I love Leclerc, so I feel terrible saying it, but it'd be so good to see Aussie P up there. It really, really would. Beef and Barley says, stonking definition, damn quick. I like it. Yes. Damn quick. Stonking's better than damn quick, definitely. We've got to agree on that one, surely. Coming up to 6 minutes left in Q3. So I'll take the opportunity for one more time in the actual qualifying session itself, just to ask you guys to drop a like. It doesn't pay me, but it helps to give the channel a boost in the algorithm. So likes really do help a lot more than I think people realise. So please do drop a like. nearly 2,000 of you here, and we've only, in quotes, got 219 likes. So let's get that up as high as we can. That'd be fantastic. Well over 500 would be amazing. So please do, if not more. I know it's a pain asking. I hate doing it, but it really does help in the algorithm for the channel. So I'll pester you less if the channel's doing better. I guess is my argument. And you can subscribe if you're new as well. We're watching Alex Albon on TV at the moment into Mirabeau. Only half a tenth down on the fastest time. So good first sector from Albon. And don't forget, of course, we are live tomorrow after the race with the reaction. I won't do a race watch along because I like to sit and just watch the race. But, you know, we'll see how we go in the future. You never know in the future, do you? What's Albon going to do then? He's through the tunnel. Mental watching cars through there, really, isn't it? Yeah, everyone's in the pits except Alex Albon. So Albon's going in one of the gaps, but I suspect this will be a flying lap, a cool down, then another flying lap because the soft tyres are holding on nicely. They do at Monaco. He's about 4/10 down, 4.5 down in the middle sector, or overall on this lap, sorry. Yeah, through Rascasse into the final corner. What's he going to do, Alex Albon, over the line? The back end just always steps out, doesn't it? Coming through there. And he goes up to 7th place, so a decent lap from Albon, a 1:10.9. Everyone but Gasly and Tsunoda in the 1 minute 10s. So there we go. Good stuff. I'm just taking a moment before we get into the actual laps because I think this is going to be close. And I'm not, by the way, I'm not ruling Verstappen out at all. Do you remember last year? I know he's not been good in the middle in the final sector this year, but last year didn't look like he was going to do it, did he? And then he just hooked up despite hitting the wall, hooked up a perfect final sector and absolutely stormed to pole position. So Verstappen, Sainz now out on track. Albon on a cool down lap. It won't be long before the rest are out as well. We'll keep an eye on them. Some others moving the pits. We've got a Mercedes coming out, which will be, I assume, Lewis Hamilton. It is Lewis Hamilton. There we go. Leclerc coming out as well now. So this is it. Coming up to 3.5 minutes left. Deep breaths. This is where it gets good. I assume that's why people are turning up now. A few more people tuning in. This is it. We want to know. This is the bit. This is what it all comes down to. This is for pole and a great chance of winning the race tomorrow. So, assuming you don't stick it in the wall and then your team don't check everything at the back right of the car or whatever, and you can't take the race starts. Still hurts. Leclerc on that lap. Piastri still in the pits. He'll be out soon. Norris in the pits as well. We've got a McLaren on the move, though. So Piastri is on his way. He's out there now just behind Leclerc. Sainz is coming around to sort of turn 17 on the run now to Rascasse. So Norris is exiting the pits. Is he going to come out between Sainz and Verstappen here? So he's going to have to watch out for traffic. Sainz is just going to start his lap now. Norris is on pit exit. That big arrow gives it away. Right, what can Sainz do? I think 2 runs. Do we think 2 runs, chat? Are we expecting 2 here? Fast, cool down, fast for Sainz. Some won't get that, of course. Some are only going to get 1 shot, but yeah. We'll see. Don't forget, if you're just tuning in, by the way, we've already lost Joe, Bottas, Perez, Sargeant, Alonso, Magnussen, Stroll, Ricciardo, Hulkenberg, Ocon in reverse order. This is now it. This is the one that matters. This is for pole position. I know I'm stating the obvious, but not everyone knows it all about F1. So it's best to say sometimes. But 0.066 for Hamilton. He's up in the first set. It's a personal best, but not a purple. It's an 18.3. For Hamilton. We're on board with him as he comes through Portier and into the tunnel. Russell fastest in the first sector. I read that's Piastri for some reason. Russell is quickest in the first sector with an 18.2. So a 10th quicker than his teammate at the moment, just over. So we'll see what happens for the rest of the lap for Russell. Hamilton through the middle sector, personal best, but 2/10 down. Best part of 2/10 down on Leclerc's fastest time. 1.5 minutes to go. So he should get a fairly rapid cool-down lap, but he will get it in if he's quick about it, but we'll see. It could be last across the line later. We'll see what he does. But over the line for Hamilton goes 4th on a 1:10.6. Russell's middle sector was a 33.4, matching Hamilton. So probably overall just up on his teammate. What can Russell do over the line? Round he goes. Goes to 3rd, a 1:10.5, a 10th off. That'll be less than a tenth. Oh, just over a tenth, sorry. Leclerc, is he improving? What's Piastri doing? Leclerc at 18.3. Piastri marginally quicker on an 18.3. This is going to be close. Verstappen says he's hit the wall. Is he still moving? He is still moving. The car is still moving. So I assume he is as well. That'd be a talent, wouldn't it? But so Piastri's down, though, in the middle sector. Leclerc did improve. Piastri didn't. In fact, Piastri was 2 tenths down. So this is looking like Leclerc for pole here. Over the line he goes, a 1:10.2. What a lap that is. And what can Piastri do? I don't know if he's got enough. Oscar Piastri over the line. No, he hasn't. He will be P2 at the moment. Oh, that's a shame. It looks like Leclerc's got it. Nothing against Leclerc, of course, but Ferrari fans are happy with that. So Leclerc looks like he's got pole. Sainz is improving. Is it going to be by enough? Over the line goes Carlos Sainz and goes third. Ferrari, McLaren, Ferrari. It's like the 90s. This is ridiculous. What can Norris do? Over the line he goes fourth. So it's Ferrari, McLaren, Ferrari, McLaren. Yes, nostalgia. Max Verstappen is 17 seconds off the pace. He's not going to get his lap in. Max Verstappen only P6. George Russell P5. I think Gasly is improving. Has he backed out of it, though? They're not following Gasly. Sometimes they don't, but we'll keep an eye on it. Gasly does a 33.4 in the middle. So Gasly is doing he's doing all right. He's improving. He's improving, but Charles Leclerc has pole, unless Pierre Gasly shocks us all in the final sector, and Yuki Tsunoda as well. We'll see what Gasly does. Gasly over the line. What can he do? He doesn't shock us. He stays 10th, but that's still a great effort from Pierre Gasly to be in the top 10 in qualifying Monaco. So it's Charles Leclerc then. It wasn't as close as we hoped in the end, but Charles Leclerc, pole position for his home Grand Prix, a 1:10.270, 0.154 quicker than Oscar Piastri, a tenth and a half. Piastri was so close, but didn't really hook up the middle sector on his final flying lap. Carlos Sainz in third place, 2.5 tenths off his teammate. Lando Norris just a little bit further back in fourth place. We're going to watch Verstappen now hit the wall, I think, so we'll wait a moment before I go for the rest of the order. Watching the replay, he comes down to that first corner, Sandevot. Too many heroics, Max. Then clunked the wall on the exit, just got it wrong, hit the wall. Car was slippery as flip, he said there, so there we go. George Russell, P5. A thousandth of a second off Lando Norris in fourth place. Max Verstappen only 6th, 3 tenths nearly off the pace. Lewis Hamilton just over half a tenth further back in 7th place. Yuki Tsunoda in 8th place, only 6 tenths off the pace, sorry. Albon in 9th place and Pierre Gasly in P10. Very good driving from Tsunoda, Albon and Gasly today for those positions, but it is Charles Leclerc on pole. Max Verstappen only 6th. Sergio Perez only 18th. Not a good day for Red Bull at all, but a great day for Charles Leclerc. P1 ahead of Piastri and Sainz. That is a very nice grid for tomorrow's race. Thank you to everyone, by the way, for tuning in. I'm not ending the stream yet, but I know people might disappear now that qualifying itself is over. So thank you very much for everyone that tuned in. Please do leave a like before you go. That'd be massively appreciated. And subscribe so you don't miss out on the future content. We've got loads coming. We've got the reaction tomorrow, shortly after the race, about 5 p.m. UK time. And of course, we'll do the same for Canada and all of that as well. So previews too. So please do leave a like and subscribe as well. Thank you to those who put the super chats in so far too. I am going to stick around for another 20 minutes or so. We'll wrap up qualifying for those that are staying. But anyone who came and is now leaving, I appreciate your support and thank you for joining me. I feel like what is it the City Planner Play says? I love City Planner Plays. There was 1,000 things you could have been doing this afternoon and you chose to spend the time with me, so thank you very much. I appreciate it. It's so true. He's such a lovely guy. So yes, we are going to keep going for about 20 minutes. We'll just wrap up qualifying, see what gets said, see what's happening. I'll run through the order a couple of times as well, and you guys can let me know what you think. But just in case, bye Kevin. Hope you have your daughter has a good time. I'm not sure what that is, but I hope you have a good one anyway. Thank you, Beef and Barley, as well. But yes, if you are just tuning in to check the results, Charles Leclerc is on pole position for the 2024 Monaco Grand Prix. He did so with a 1:10.270. Oscar Piastri, a 1:10.424, a tenth and a half further back in second place. It did look at one point as though that was going to be a very tight battle between those two, but great stuff from Aussie P. Carlos Sainz was third, 2.5 tenths behind. Lando Norris fourth place. just a little bit further back, and George Russell only a thousandth of a second off Norris as well in 5th place. Max Verstappen hit the wall on his final run. Struggled with the car most of the weekend, so not a surprise, but yes, he did hit the wall in Q3 and only 6th place, 3/10 off the pace. Lewis Hamilton in 7th place. A little bit surprised, actually. I thought Mercedes were a bit quicker this weekend, but not that far off his teammate, really, when you look at the times. Yuki Tsunoda, great position in 8th place. Albon, great drive as well in 9th. And Pierre Gasly, the big surprise of the session, really. Positive surprise of the session, in 10th place for Alpine. Ocon is 11th, Hulkenberg 12th, Ricciardo 13th, Stroll 14th, Magnussen in 15th place. They all got knocked out in Q2 and then knocked out in Q1. Fernando Alonso 16th, Logan Sargeant 17th, Sergio Perez in 18th place, Valtteri Bottas 19th, and Zhou Guanyu in 20th. So that is your grid as it stands, but we have got investigations. We've got the maximum delta time investigations going on. There's some impeding as well, so don't be surprised if we see some penalties, but that is your top 10, your top 20 as things stand. So we'll react to it a little bit. We'll talk about what's going on, what we've got tomorrow. It's a little bit tricky, if I'm being brutally honest, to talk about Monaco's race, because what you see there on the timing tower is very possibly going to be pretty close to the finishing order tomorrow in the race. I think we all know Monaco is tough to overtake. I don't need to keep saying it. We know it's a tricky race, but there's 20 drivers. They've got to be maximum concentration. People stick it in the wall, it can cause safety cars, red flags, and that can shake up the order. So in terms of overtaking, I'd be surprised if whoever makes turn 1 first tomorrow doesn't win the race, but there are always, in a straightforward race, if Leclerc makes turn 1 first, he wins the race. But like I say, safety cars, you never quite know what the weather's going to do. It can surprise you, even if the forecast is expecting no rain. It can surprise. Safety cars, red flags, it all adds to it. So it's not a guarantee, but I think, given that most of the time, I can't remember what the exact figures are, most of the time, the win comes from the front row. We're looking at Leclerc or Piastri. And as a Ferrari fan, and because it would be great to see him win his home Grand Prix and end this jinx everyone keeps talking about, I'd like to see Leclerc win, but there is a big part of me that would quite like Oscar Piastri to take the win as well. I think that'd be really, and quite apt as well, actually, in the Senna colours this weekend, for McLaren to win at Monaco. But I think, Ferrari fan in me, Leclerc fan in me, I'm always going to want to see the Ferrari take the win, but I'm rooting for Aussie P as well. I really, really do want to see him do well. Hopefully get a podium stay and hopefully get some luck as well. Doesn't all go against him. I'd be surprised, Hector, as long as it's not Sainz, I'd be surprised if Sainz does win. I think he would need either a Ferrari strategy cock-up for Leclerc, which is very possible. They're better than they were, but it is still possible. Or a little bit of luck ahead, really, because I don't see him passing both of them to take the win. Same with Lando Norris in 4th. I guess a question then for you guys in chat. I love a quick scrolling chat. Why not? I'll have a sip of my drink while I'm waiting for you to get your answers in. What do you think for Max Verstappen tomorrow from P6? Do you think he can get himself any further up, or do you think he will end up in and around P6? I mean, again, anything could happen in Monaco. Somebody stick it in the wall, you get a safety car, whatever. Maybe runs long and a red flag comes out and I can make it stop under that red flag, so he doesn't actually lose any time and gains lots of positions through pit stops, maybe. But Lewis says P3 at best. I'm not convinced on P3. I know you said at best, so I'll let you off. I'm not saying that you've predicted P3, but that's the absolute best. But I'd be very surprised if he makes the podium from there. I think he'd need a retirement and probably... Well, no, actually, I'm just thinking about it. If he stays in touch with... if Russell stays in touch with Norris, Sainz, Piastri and Leclerc, and Verstappen stays in touch with Russell, he can look after his tyres, can't he? Stay within a pit stop of the leaders, and then when they pit, he can absolutely go hell for leather on an in-lap or around those pit stops. So, I mean, he could gain places, but it's not going to be through overtaking. I would be surprised, but there is also part of me looking at that grid and seeing that Red Bull out of position and thinking we might get the odd overtake tomorrow. But, I mean, where do you overtake at Monaco? There's a shot at turn 1 with the DRS, but not really. Although we saw Esteban, Ocon, and Lewis Hamilton battling down there in the past, haven't we? So you can get moves done down there. You can make moves into Mirabeau as well. Was it Hulkenberg last year made an audacious one on Logan Sargeant early on and pushed him out of the way? And you can into the Nouvelle Chicane, but it's not an overtaking fest. We know that, but Leclerc in a great position to win it. But I'd be really interested to know where Verstappen's going to come back to. Nick says Max needs rain. P5 for Max will be decent, says Echo. Rain dance is RB's only chance. Fair enough. Can Leclerc get pole to win tomorrow, says Vexeno. He's got pole, so can he go pole to win? Again, I'll say it again. I know it's the third time I've said it, but I'll say it again. I think whoever makes turn 1 first goes on to win the race. I'd be very surprised if... I'd be very surprised if we're looking at wins from Sainz, Norris, Russell, Verstappen. But again, Monaco, as predictable as it can be, it can also be very unpredictable. Things can happen. I don't know what the weather's saying for tomorrow. Do we know what the weather's saying for tomorrow? I'm assuming it was saying dry on Thursday, but things have changed. So Sunday, races at, is it 3 local time or 2 local time, somewhere around there. Currently saying dry, 19 degrees. For the start of the race. It gets to 20 degrees during the race, but it stays dry, so we're not expecting any rain tomorrow. So there you go. But yeah, Leclerc pole position looking good. We'll talk about Perez tomorrow. I want to talk to Stuart about that because I think we can have a real conversation. We'll do the reaction tomorrow, obviously, for the race, and we'll go through the order like we always do, and then afterwards we'll get to Q&A. I'll talk to Stuart about it all, and we can get some opinions in there. We'll have 24 hours or so to digest it all. Because I'm not really sure what to say, except whatever the reason, that's crap. Not good enough. Whatever the reason, it's not good enough. Unless he had a car problem, that's really not good enough for Perez. And Alonso as well. But then that said, Stroll was 14th, so maybe Aston. Comparing Alonso and Stroll is a bit silly, but you know what I mean. Aston maybe not had the pace today. We'll see what happens in the race, but qualifying pace is where it's at in Monaco. Ferrari had it, McLaren had it, and we're back to the 90s again. 2 Ferraris, 2 McLarens in the top 4. Oh, let's do this. This will be good. Panis won from 14th in 1996, says Nick. Yes, that's what I mean about the anything can happen, but there were only... This gets confused depending on where you look. I think, was it 3 or 4? Some sites will tell you it's 3, but there were technically 4, but I don't know if one of those was lapped. But there are only 3 or 4 finishes in 96, so we'd need something like that for a Perez win, I think. You never know, of course. You never know. Verstappen, David wants to know what happened to Verstappen. He hit the wall. Not enough to end the session or red flag or anything, but just sort of hit the wall on the exit of turn 1. That cost him time. I think he just backed out of it from there, and that was the best he could do. Piastri, we didn't see his middle sector, but his middle sector wasn't great. Let me see, actually. Just 1 second. Oh, no, I can't. I need to do it coding. No, I can't. No, I'll do it for next time. I'll set up a second timing screen for next time so we look at the best sectors rather than the most recent sectors. So, sorry about that. But I can have a look on my practice thing and tell you what happened in Sector 2. So, Piastri's Sector 2 was his best Sector 2. That's not going to be any good, is it? No. Sorry, I need to find his last one. I'll try and have a look for next time, see if I can get like a last Sector 2 up or whatever so I can see what's going on. But he did have the fastest Sector 2 of the whole day. In fact, of the day, Russell was fastest in Sector 1, Piastri Sector 2 and Leclerc Sector 3, which I think gives you a good idea as to how mixed things are at the very top. But I'm just going to have a very quick check and see if I've missed anything in there. No. So I can't see anything on Perez. And nothing on Piastri specific to that middle sector. But that seems to be where he lost his time. Because when we were watching live, he was green, yellow, green. So it kind of went a bit wrong in that middle sector. So, yeah. But I think Piastri will be very happy with P2 when he thinks of it. He might have thought he had a shot at pole today. But Leclerc, to be fair, FP3 and FP2 looked absolutely untouchable. So to get that close, I think he'll be fairly happy with that one. Lazy Russell says Horner's face when Max was third after the first Q3 runs was hilarious. I didn't catch that one. I do like watching team bosses in those situations. I can understand why, but they look proper mardy, don't they? They pull some great faces. I think Toto's the best at garage reactions, definitely. But yes. And M7 Movie says, for the first time, I expect a good Monaco race this year. Oh, that's a big call. I love your optimism, though, M7 Movies. I'm going to take some of that optimism and enjoy that one. I'll just keep coming to you in chat then for the next few minutes, and then anything you want to ask me about the session, anything you want to do about tomorrow, then we'll do a quick prediction for the race, and then we'll call it a day for today. Should we go to past? Because then that's a nice round 2 hours, isn't it? For the stream. I think that's a good idea. We'll go to past. So questions, comments, anything like that. I'll keep an eye out for any reaction on Twitter and whatnot. But yeah, Nick says part of me wants a dual race tomorrow just so Charles can get it done. Yeah, besides the Canvas Alpine also had brilliant qualifying. They were excellent today. 10th and 11th. I think Ocon will be disappointed to have missed out on Q3. I'll tell you something in a minute. In Q3, but to be right behind his teammate on the grid, that's a great shot at points tomorrow. Double points, actually, for Alpine. What I'm going to tell you now, and I've only just spotted it, Ocon's Q2 lap was actually quicker than Gasly's Q3 lap. It's not a big deal, but I just thought I'd mention it. Gasly did a 1:11.311. Ocon did a 1:11.285. So there's, as it was last season, it's so close between those two drivers at Alpine. That's one of my favourite lineups for how close they are. So that's a really good one from Ocon and a great one from Gasly. And I got a prediction right for a change, which was always a bonus. Somebody's giving the tyre. I rubbish with celebrities. I do it every week. Some person I've never seen before is giving a tyre to Charles Leclerc. If anyone knows who that is, please do let me know. I feel incredibly ignorant. They might be massive, and I have no idea. It's be like a prince or something, isn't it? And I'm going to look a fool. I just don't keep up with that kind of thing. It just doesn't interest me. I watched, what did I watch? I watched American Horror Story, Delicate. We've been putting it off and we watched it. And I was sat there going, which one's Cara Delevingne? Which one's Kim Kardashian? I couldn't pick either of them out of a lineup, honestly. Same with, sorry, Swiftie fans, if you're here. I couldn't pick Taylor Swift out of a lineup. I have no idea. So I don't know who that person is. I'm sure someone will tell me, but there we go. Random point of the day. Fred Vasseur, big interview by Sky, looks, it's Fred Vasseur, always looks cheery, generally speaking, doesn't he? So there you go. Wish more people talk about Yuki being a contender for Red Bull's second seat, but I think Perez is keeping the seat regardless as Hector. Yes. On Tsunoda, I cannot see, for whatever reason, Tsunoda being in that seat. But I said at the start of the stream, you look at who's had the shots in those seats. Albon got a chance. Gasly got a chance. Perez is in there. Ricciardo used to be there. There's talk of him going back. It baffles me a little bit that Tsunoda doesn't get mentioned more. So I absolutely do agree with you there. I saw another point I wanted to read as well, which has disappeared, and I'm annoyed. It's a thing that Crofty uses, cited canvas. I assume it means Taylor Swift, a fan of. So I don't really know. Flying Tiger, that was it. Says, I find every race intriguing. You're like me, Flying Tiger. The amount of times people will tell me F1's boring or every race is boring, I always find something to watch, and there's always something there to keep me interested or keep me intrigued. So I completely agree. I won't ever sit here and go, that race. You'll rarely hear me call a race boring or rate a race as bad. There are dull moments in races, but I always find there's something. Imola was a little bit blah for much of it, but there was a lot going on behind the leading pack. We had action, we had some overtakes, we had some cars following closely, and there's always a chance something's going to happen there. And then later on we got Norris closing in, so there was something to keep me interested. Same tomorrow in Monaco. I'll find something to watch that keeps me interested. It's my phrase, my go-to phrase, if you're new with F1, is sometimes you've got to pick your battles. And when you've got a top three that looks set in stone and they're running away with it, sometimes you do need to go and look for the battle for 14th place. It doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of points. Of course it doesn't. But for those drivers, it matters, and it's just something to watch. So I'm very much a believer that it's not just about who wins, but I also appreciate there are people who think that's the most important thing. So we'll always focus on that. So yeah. And quali is always great. It's always great. And I love that. And maybe a tad anticlimactic at the end with Piastri not getting that lap together with that difficult middle sector, maybe, and Verstappen hitting the wall. It'd be interesting to see what he could have done, but I'm still enjoying that. Thank you to everyone who's subscribing, by the way. I've not been shouting them out. There's been quite a few today, so I've not been able to, but I do appreciate it. Thank you to Hector, the most recent one on screen there. I really do appreciate the support, and that'd be great. And we're about 70 likes now off 500. It'd be great if we could get another 70 likes before I end in about 12 minutes' time. 11 minutes time or so. I'd appreciate that one. So thank you for your support today. AJ says, Sean, as an Arsenal fan, I must say you be incredible today, and Kobe is so good. Yes. Sorry, everyone who hates football. Quick football chat here with AJ. First of all, commiserations to Arsenal. What a season. Gutted. It pains me to say it, but I was supporting them. Hoping they'd get it over the line with City, but they couldn't do it. And definitely, we need to be building around Kobe Mainoo, Alejandro Garnacho, and Rasmus Højlund for the future. And whoever the new manager is going to be, because it sounds like Ten Hag's getting a sack, hopefully they can do that. But I suspect we're back where we are in a year or two's time. But anyway, let's not do football too much. But just to answer your question there, AJ, yeah, do you think Piastri or Norris is better? Says Murray. Prepare the British bias comments. Truthfully, Norris, I think of the two of them right now, is the better driver. But they've both got an absolute crap ton of potential. Great phrase, I know. But they have. And I'm so for me, that is such a great lineup. One of the best on the grid because it's got longevity as well. And I really, really love that lineup. So I think of the two now, probably Norris. But I think Piastri, as we're going to see throughout this season and into the future, is going to give him more than a run for his money. I think McLaren have got a great lineup there. So, yeah. I thought you might, Jonathan. Father and son front row, says Botty Gamer. Yes, of course, yeah. Oscar Piastri Leclerc for the weekend, isn't he? They did that on the graphic on TV. Not on TV, on Twitter, didn't they? F1 did. So, yeah. Hamilton Verstappen on track next to each other has been pretty rare the last 2 years. Crashing coming, says Mike, ? I hope not. But it would certainly set Twitter off, wouldn't it? But yeah, it's been a while since we've seen them together on track properly, so we'll see. See what happens tomorrow. I'm well, thank you. Frog, thank you very much for asking. I'm all right. We're just rounding down the stream now. A few more minutes and then we'll call it a day. And I'm back tomorrow with the reaction. So looking forward to that as always with Stuart to hopefully have plenty to talk about. But yeah, generally all right. I've got some interesting stuff coming up this coming week, personally. So yeah, I'm good. Thank you for asking. Hope you are too. It's crazy. Oscar is almost matching Norris already. Not a rookie, but still lax. Says Lazy Rattle. I'm just looking down the thingy there. Who has the best race pace at Monaco? Says Bogdan. Do you know what, Bogdan? I didn't even check that. And I usually do check that before I do anything like this. Let's go and see if I can find the data. There was some data earlier that was doing the rounds somewhere. Let's see what we've got. So F1 tends to have some pretty good data, don't they? I need to log in apparently first. I'm not doing that. I don't have a mobile. I've got a computer sat here set up for streaming. I could just type it into the browser or just open the webpage, but no, I've got to do it through my phone. So according to Lawrence Barretto's data, or the data that Lawrence Barretto has crunched, Ferrari had the better qualifying sim by 0.13 seconds over Red Bull and 0.2 over McLaren. That wasn't too quicker. It was McLaren second, wasn't it? It's not quite right there, but not far off. Race pace wise, Red Bull apparently 0.01 quicker than Ferrari on race pace and 0.08. So according to them, with yesterday's data, Red Bull have the best race pace, but there's nothing in it really. So, but looking at that grid, the race pace isn't irrelevant, of course, for Red Bull, but it's not really going to concern Ferrari immediately, is it? Verstappen will need to make some places before he becomes a factor, really. But again, that's I don't know. Monaco's tough. It's an outlier. If Leclerc manages to pace at the front and keeps the field well bunched together, looks after his tyres and that, there might be a chance around the pit stops for Verstappen to use that tiny extra bit of race pace, according to that data. But also Leclerc can be the last to pit, can't he? So it'll be interesting. But I don't know. A lot of people hate Monaco for a race, and I totally get it, but I'm still looking forward to it. And if any one of those top two win, no offense to Sainz or Norris, let's have another different winner for the season. But I'd be very happy with that. But I'd be happy whoever wins. I just love my Formula One. I'm like that. Sighted Canvas has gone for a barbecue. Enjoy. I'll have a burger, please, with some ketchup. No onions. Thank you very much, Sighted Canvas. I will give you an address, but it'll be cold by the time it got higher, so there's no point. 2021 type battle with Verstappen and Hamilton. A couple of people asking that one now. That's from Fantasy Commentary. Going to be interesting as it into Turn 1 tomorrow and beyond. How's your fantasy team doing, says Seth Blake. I'll be honest, Seth, I haven't updated it since Saudi. And I haven't checked it since then either, so I assume horrifically badly is my prediction. I couldn't even tell you my fantasy team. Probably Red Bulls and Ferraris, or no, I probably went with Red Bull. Start the season to wrap that one up. So, yeah. Clansom, think Merc could beat Red Bull behind at the moment. Could keep Red Bull behind at the moment. I don't know if that's a question, but it's anybody can keep anybody behind at Monaco. Ask David Coulthard and ask him about. I'm going to say off the top of my head, Enrique Bernoldi. I think, go and ask him. That McLaren should have been well past the arrows, and it wasn't. It's so difficult to overtake around Monaco, of course. So, yeah. I'm going to wrap up in about... I'll start doing the wrap-up in a minute, but just any more questions super quickly. Plastolobium says, race watch on tomorrow, please. I'm not going to... I did think about it, but if I do that, it'll be... watch along or reaction, because the problem when I used to do the race watch alongs was then I'd go into the reaction, and because I'd not been really paying all my attention on the race, there was a lot of, and I know I and R a lot, but there was a lot of it in the reaction. I was missing things. I had to rely too much on my guests, and I didn't like that. So if I was to do a watch along, there wouldn't be a reaction. I think people would prefer a reaction. So we'll see. We'll see. Maybe in the future, I might if something big's going to happen in a race, or we get like an absolutely bonkers grid one day with Sargeant on pole and Bottas second or something like that, then I might do the odd one here and there, but I'm not going to commit to race watch alongs just because, although in this lifetime it would look cool, but I don't want to do that and then start something I can't continue, basically. But yeah, I think reactions are what people prefer. But tomorrow, I need to wrap the stream up as quick as I can tomorrow, don't I? Because the Indy 500 starting. I don't know what time that starts UK time, but I will try and be done as close as I can. I know Plastolobo. I enjoy them as well, but it's just because of the reaction. I can't. I wear my heart on my sleeve as a phrase, but I can't, in good conscience, sit and do a race reaction when I didn't really pay a huge amount of attention to the race or properly, because I can't take notes when I'm streaming, you see, so it would all be off the top of my head, and that's when they get a mess. So we'll see. If I get a load of feedback after this that people would rather have race watch alongs than reactions, and I'll do a poll, and if it still goes that way, then we'll switch them up. But yeah, we'll see. I feel like the race would be better in the 500, says Skeleton Josh. Probably 17:45 UK. So if I go live at 5, so we'll be at least an hour and a half for the reaction, I thought. So we will be eating into that. So you might have to have us on quietly, or the Indy 500 on in the background while you're listening, and keep me updated on that. I'll probably put it on record though. But yeah, any more questions before I go? We've got a couple of minutes and then I'll wrap up for the day. But I don't think I've seen anything massively. I'll just have a quick check of the FIA. I don't think we've had anything happening. We've got a few investigations, of course, but there's nothing going to come in while I'm live anyway. So we've got Albon and Sainz, and Albon for allegedly impeding. And then we've got Hulkenberg and Ocon. We saw that one, didn't we, on board? So that one will be a penalty, I think, for Hulkenberg, which would be 3 places, which would drop him to P15. And I'm not sure. Who was it? Which way round was it? Car 55 unnecessarily impeding car 23. So if that's a penalty, that would drop Carlos Sainz down to 6th place and bump everybody up a place. So that's worth. So get onto your socials. Get onto socials and keep an eye on your Chris Medlands and that, and I'll let you know what's happening with the penalties. But Sainz, I'm pretty confident Hulkenberg will get a penalty because that looked like a penalty on board. The Sainz and Albon one, I can't remember. But if Sainz has impeded him, that could be a penalty there for him too. So keep an eye on those two in the coming hours. because it tends to take a while. And one final question. Plaster Labour says, what happened to Alonso here? I don't know. Honestly, I thought he looked solid after practice, I thought, unless I'm misremembering. But he just didn't seem to hook the lap up at all. So it's... we're going to watch here. Hang on a second. Is that the replay? Sky, look at that for timing. Sky's showing a replay here. I'm going to rewind this. I think that was the impeding. So it is Albon impeding Sainz. That's there. And it's on the entry to... No. I'd be amazed if that's a penalty. Albon is, just to confirm, Albon is on the inside. Up at turn... That's Massenet, isn't it? Turn 3. He is on the line, driving slowly, but Sainz goes around the outside of him. I don't know what time that's cost him, but that's one of those that could go either way. So it is Albon on Sainz, so we'll see what happens there, but we'll keep an eye on it. Albon impeding Sainz. Sorry, I thought it was the other way around. I apologise. The document definitely was mixed up. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I was going to answer a question then, wasn't I? And it just completely went, so I apologise. I'm well, thank you, Clansom, and everyone is asking how I am. I'm fine, thank you for your support today. It's been great fun. We are going to leave it there for today. I've just realised I've not updated this again. I will update this on the 1st when Patreon clears again. I think everybody on there has contributed at some point, so I don't think there's anybody missing. So thank you to everyone for your support on Patreon. Thank you for joining me as well today. It's been absolutely fantastic. I've really enjoyed that, sitting and chatting F1 with you all and enjoying qualifying. Thank you as well to Multiviewer for F1. Who provided all the live timing. Check them out in the link in the description. If you haven't already, they are well worth signing up to. You will need an F1 TV subscription, but you can get F1 access for, I think it's like £2.29 in the UK, so it's well worth it. Lots of great data over there. Awesome people as well, so please do check out their Discord and, of course, download the app as well. It's not sponsored, but I like to make sure that I sell people that are helping me out with the streams. It's always appreciated. You know, they help me out, so I'll try and help them out as well. That's awesome stuff. Now, I will be back tomorrow at 5 p.m-ish UK time. Obviously, it could be a little bit later if we get an absolute ton of red flags or safety cars or anything, but I will try and aim for 5 o'clock because I know people will want to disappear for the Indy 500, but it's an F1 channel, so that will be where the focus is at naturally. And I'll have Chamber with me, Stuart, for that one, to talk about all things Monaco. Please do leave a like before you go. We're so close to 500 likes. We've got 464, 600 of you still here. Please do leave a like and try and get over 500. That would be absolutely amazing while I wrap up, and subscribe as well if you're new, so you don't miss out on future content. Like I say, the reaction tomorrow for Monaco, we'll do the same for the weekend in Canada as well, with the preview on a Thursday. Absolutely love talking F1 with you all, so I'm definitely going to do that one. And it's been fantastic. Just checking chats if I've missed anything that anyone's saying. But no, all good words. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And feedback always appreciated as well on these streams. If you want to see more of these, let me know. If you don't, then... I mean, you don't have to let me know. I just assume you don't if I don't hear anything. But yeah, should we leave it there? I think we should. I'm going to go and watch the rest of the FA Cup final because I might see a trophy in a minute, which would be nice. But as ever, thank you for watching. I've been Sean. This has been the F1 Word. And until next time, goodbye.